Chapter 217. Big Brother Qin, what happened to you? Seeing Qin current appearance, Li'er can't help asking anxiously and concernedly. Qin stretches out his hand to stop Li'er, because at this moment Immortal Emperor Ni Yang is telling Qin in his mind about this so-called unique and most precious treasure of the Treasure Pavilion. Junior, you're really lucky. When I left the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion at the bottom of the chaotic Astral Ocean, I once thought about whether to leave this Lord of Black Flame ring behind. After all, the difficulty level I set, you're not qualified to get this Lord of Black Flame ring. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang slowly says. Qin helplessly smiles bitterly in his heart. The hallucinatory magic land, the road to the underworld, is this not dangerous enough? Especially the road to the underworld, even if one's power is high, one will still die if one makes the wrong choice. So dangerous, this Immortal Emperor Ni Yang actually thinks that this level of danger is not enough to get this Lord of Black Flame ring. However, Qin finally knows that this ring is called the Lord of Black Flame ring. But then I thought about it, luck is very important, so I put the Lord of Black Flame ring on the finger of my sculpture back. Ordinary people want to directly rush into the Treasure Pavilion to seize the immortal treasures. Being able to notice that ring shows that your luck is really good. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang says with a smile. Qin feels a bit strange. This Immortal Emperor Ni Yang seems to attach great importance to luck. The ring of the Lord of Black Flame is also an extremely precious treasure in the immortal world. This is the ring that I wore when I roamed the world. This ring itself was made by my good friend, an expert of the same level as me, Lord of Black Flame, so it is called Ring of the Lord of Black Flame. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang explained the origin of this ring. Qin silently remembers the name Lord of Black Flame ring in his heart. Since he's an expert of the same level as Immortal Emperor Ni Yang, he must be a peak expert who can summon the wind and summon the rain. Storage-type immortal items are relatively difficult to make. This Lord of Black Flame ring is a high-grade immortal item, but in terms of preciousness, it even surpasses ordinary best-grade immortal items. Of course, the Lord of Black Flame's ring is a storage-type immortal item, so its attack power is not strong. But it has two auxiliary functions, both of which are Lord of Black Flame's consummate skills. Listening to the tone of Immortal Emperor Ni Yang, it was obvious that he admired Lord of Black Flame's consummate skills. The Lord of Black Flame's ring has a storage space. At the same time, it had two auxiliary functions. One was the Heavenly Fire domain. The Lord of Black Flame was good at using flames. Originally, if a powerful person used the Lord of Black Flame's ring, they could use flames even more powerful than the Heavenly Fire. But generally, Heaven Immortals and those below the Heaven Immortal realm can only trigger the Heaven Flame stored in the Lord of Black Flame's ring. The stronger their cultivation base, the more Heaven Flame they can trigger. Qin was overjoyed. Skyfire. This was a flame that even celestial immortals had to be careful of. The second function was the gravitational domain. If the Lord of Black Flame used the gravitational domain, he could even cause level 4 or 5 mystic immortals within the range of the gravitational domain to collapse because of the terrifying gravity. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang sighed. Of course, the gravitational domain, attached to the Lord of Black Flame's ring, is only a formation set up by the Lord of Black Flame. As long as you input your energy into it, you can create the gravitational domain. The higher your cultivation base, the greater the gravity. As for the owner of the Lord of Black Flame's ring, of course, he would not be affected by the gravitational domain. The two functions were the Heavenly Fire domain and the gravitational domain. Qin sighed in amazement. Heavens, what kind of expert was that Lord of Black Flame? Just by relying on the gravitational domain, he could cause level 4 or 5 mystic immortals to collapse, and even cause Yuanying to collapse because of the terrifying gravity. Alright, just now I was talking about some of the benefits of the Lord of Black Flame's ring, and I also left a map, Heaven Sundering Sword Qi, and a sentence inside. This map is the map that leads to Ni Yang's realm. Heaven Sundering Sword Qi, when you arrive at Ni Yang's realm, use the Heaven Sundering Sword Qi to cover an area, and you can cover your people inside. At that time, Ni Yang's realm will automatically suck you in. Of course, You can bring a maximum of 8 people, including yourself, that's 9 people. Qin Yu's heart shook. This Lord of Black Flame's ring, wasn't it just the 3 heaven-sundering diagrams added together? Only when all the diagrams were added together would a map appear, and every diagram could bring 6 people, including the owner, in. Not only did the Lord of Black Flame's ring have a complete map to Ni Yang's realm, it also had the heaven-sundering sword Qi, which could bring 9 people, including the owner. In addition to the 2 great domains of the Lord of Black Flame's ring, as well as a high-grade immortal storage immortal tool. In terms of preciousness, even the 3 heaven-sundering diagrams added together couldn't compare. No wonder it was said that there was a unique, most precious immortal tool. At that time, Immortal Emperor Ni Yang said that this immortal tool was in the treasure-storing pavilion of the inner hall, but he didn't say whether it was inside the treasure-storing pavilion or at its entrance. Even when they were in the treasure-storing pavilion, Qin Yu, Dame Yen Ji and Yen Mo still thought that the 3 heaven-sundering diagrams were the treasures mentioned by Immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Qin Yu suddenly became curious in his heart. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang said that he left a map, heaven-sundering sword Qi and a sentence in the Lord of Black Flame's ring. What was that sentence? As for that sentence, it's a sentence I left for you. Junior. I really hope that the person who obtains the Lord of Black Flame's ring can obtain that treasure in Ni Yang's realm. Of course, I won't give you any hints. Everything will have to depend on your own efforts. All right, Junior, work hard. I hope you can do even better than me in the future. Haha. I, Immortal Emperor Ni Yang, used my heaven-sundering sword Qi to move unhindered in the 3 realms. Who would have thought that I would actually fall for that? Ha ha ha. Following his loud laughter, Immortal Emperor Ni Yang's voice disappeared. After leaving the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion, some kind of restriction on the Lord of Black Flame's ring should have been removed. At the moment, the true face of the Lord of Black Flame's ring has been completely revealed. Qin Yu uses his holy sense to search the inside of the Lord of Black Flame's ring and discovers that there is only a map and a piece of paper inside it. On that piece of paper is a sentence left behind by Immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Junior, as your reward for obtaining the Lord of Black Flame's ring, I'll tell you one thing. Anyone whose power level is lower than that of a Dashang stage Xiaoxianist will definitely die. The last sentence causes Qin Yu's back to break out in cold sweat. Anyone whose power level is lower than that of a Dashang stage Xiaoxianist will definitely die. Qin Yu believes that no matter how good this Immortal Emperor Ni Yang is at deceiving people, it is impossible for him to carelessly say the most important sentence he left behind for him. Moreover, he also has a feeling that Ni Yang's realm is definitely not a place that ordinary people can set foot in. The power level of a Dashang stage Xiaoxianist is the lowest threshold to enter Ni Yang's realm. Big brother Qin Yu, look at how happy your face is. What exactly is the good news? Li Er said with a smile. Qin Yu recovered from the joy of obtaining the Lord of Black Flame's ring, and looked at Li Er who was beside him. Li Er, do you still remember that Immortal Emperor Ni Yang had once said that the treasure pavilion has a unique and most precious treasure? You're saying, it's this ring? Li Er said in astonishment. Yes, it's this ring. This ring is called the Lord of Black Flame's ring. It's a high-grade immortal storage immortal tool. Moreover, it has 2 special functions. One is the heavenly fire domain, and the other is the gravity domain. Do you still remember the ink wash painting that I obtained at that time? Of course I remember. What's so special about that ink wash painting? Qin Yu and Li Er were flying high in the sky as they chatted. Qin Yu told Li Er that the ink wash painting was the heaven-sundering diagram and the information it contained. He even told Li Er about the Lord of Black Flame's ring. Ah, this is the heavenly fire domain? Qin Yu used the heavenly fire domain with all his strength. Only his upper body was covered with a thin layer of heavenly fire. Between the heavenly fire and Qin Yu's body, there was a layer of invisible membrane. It should be the magical power that was displayed by the Lord of Black Flame's ring. However, it only covered his upper body, and it was only a thin layer. Could this still be called a domain? Big brother Qin Yu, your power is really too weak. Even if a Dashang stage expert used the heavenly fire domain of the Lord of Black Flame's ring, I estimate that it has at least a range of 2 to 3 meters. Li Er pondered for a moment and said. Qin Yu could only smile helplessly. It seems that when I go back this time I'll have to refine that yuanying and train properly. Qin Yu obtained that second tribulation loose immortal's yuanying. Moreover, after his trip to the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion, Qin Yu's soul has become even more solid and has now reached the late Kongming stage. Qin Yu could calmly refine this yuanying completely. Big brother Qin Yu, try the gravitational domain again. Li Er reminded. This gravitational domain is related to the user's power. The stronger the power, the greater the gravitational force of the gravitational domain. Okay, I'll try. In fact, Qin Yu liked this gravitational domain even more. Although the heavenly fire domain is very good, in Qin Yu's opinion, when used in a real battle, the gravitational domain will have an unexpected effect. For example, when two experts are fighting, when Qin Yu rushes to the opponent's side and the opponent is about to counterattack, a terrifying gravitational force suddenly presses down on him. Even if the gravitational force cannot kill him, just the binding effect of the gravitational force alone can greatly reduce the opponent's speed and combat power. Especially when used unexpectedly, the opponent does not know at the beginning. When used in a moment of life and death, the effect is even better. Qin Yu poured his power into the Lord of Black Flame's ring. In fact, the Lord of Black Flame's ring does not absorb a lot of power. The magnitude of the gravitational force is related to the purity of the power. The range of the gravitational domain is related to the amount of power poured in. Big brother Qin Yu, why are you standing there like a fool? Li Er said with a smile. I've already used this gravitational domain. It's just, I'm not very sure how powerful it is. Qin Yu said helplessly. After all, he is a caster. He cannot feel the gravitational domain. Li Er smiled. That's not easy. I'll just come in. Li Er, who was originally some distance away from Qin Yu, immediately came closer. Qin Yu hurriedly retreated. How can you do this? Li Er, if your body can't take it. It's okay. Li Er interrupted Qin Yu's words. I have a protective magic treasure. I definitely can't take any injuries. Moreover, the gravitational domain can't kill an expert of the same level. Didn't you just tell me that the Lord of Black Flame can only kill a level 4 or 5 Mystic Immortal? The Lord of Black Flame himself is at the same level as a level 8 Mystic Immortal, Immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Therefore, for this gravitational domain, firstly, I have a protective magic treasure. You can't hurt me. Secondly, it won't be too powerful. Hearing Li Er's persuasion, Qin Yu thought that it made sense. In that case, be careful, said Qin Yu. He then had Li Er approach him. Li Er smiled and stepped into the gravitational domain. This time, Qin Yu used the gravitational domain. With Qin Yu as the center, the gravitational domain was a circular area with a radius of 3 meters. The moment Li Er stepped into the gravitational domain, her body sank. Immediately, ripples appeared on the surface of her body. Qin Yu knew that those ripples were caused by Li Er's protective magic treasure. Qin Yu immediately withdrew the gravitational domain. Li Er said with a face full of smiles, Brother Qin Yu, this gravitational domain's power is not small. I estimate that it has at least several million Jin of pressure. A Jin Dan stage expert will definitely die. Even a Yuanying stage expert will not be far from death if suddenly attacked. Even a Dongshu stage expert will probably be injured. Qin Yu smiled and nodded. He was very satisfied with the effect of the gravitational domain. The sudden appearance of several million Jin of gravity was enough to injure a Dongshu stage expert. Even a Kongming stage expert would be caught unprepared. What Qin Yu wanted was precisely to be caught unprepared. In a life-and-death battle, this gravitational domain represented an opportunity to win. However, this gravitational domain must be kept a secret. If the enemy knew about it and was prepared in advance, it would definitely be less effective than if the enemy was not prepared. Times after flying for some time, Qin Yu and Li Er finally arrived at the Qianlong continent. Qin Yu simply does not know that ever since the Qin clan was overseen by the Stellar Tower's experts and gained an absolute advantage in terms of Shangxian level experts, the Qin dynasty began to invade the Ming dynasty. The Qin dynasty's military power has also been demonstrated beyond doubt. Oh, it's the Qin family's army down there. Father and the others seem to be in the camp too. With a sweep of his holy sense, Qin Yu found Qin De's aura. He naturally felt strange. Even if it was a war, why did his father need to get involved? Li Er, let's go down. Qin Yu and Li Er directly swooped down from the ninth heaven. As they approached the ground, they saw the two valiant cavalry units in training constantly sprinting. A murderous aura emanated from every soldier. The murderous aura of one person was nothing. But the aura of more than 10,000 cavalrymen was also like this, which made them seem very valiant. Qin Yu and Li Er moved as fast as lightning and landed on the ground in a flash. The cavalrymen did not notice that someone was flying down from the sky. Qin Yu also chose a place to land. It was close to the commander-in-chief's tent. Lord Yu, the general of this army, Wang Song, was shocked when he saw Qin Yu. He immediately knelt down on one knee. As a high-ranking figure in the Qin dynasty's military department, he knew very well how much power Prince Yu had. He knew that there were more than 10,000 upper immortals in the capital city back then, so he knew that. General Wang Song, don't make such a big fuss. I just want to see my father. Qin Yu nodded with a smile. The retired emperor and the others also came to the front line yesterday to take a look. I'll take you to his residence. General Wang Song regained his majesty and led the way in front in a manner that was neither servile nor overbearing. Qin Yu and Li Er walked toward Qin De's residence. Chapter 218. The place where the army is stationed is a plain. Of course, there are only tents here. Qin De, Fenjiuzi and Su Yuan are leisurely walking north and south of the river. This time they are also on a whim, so they have decided to take a stroll around the front line. Su Yuan, my army has been stationed here for half a month now, but we simply haven't been able to take down Tieshu City. Tell me, is there any way to take down this city? Qin De points to a city in the distance and asks casually. Qin De is also asking casually. After all, the matter of taking down the city has little to do with him. Su Yuan strokes his beard and ponders for a while, then says smilingly, Retired Emperor, to take down Tieshu City. Seeing that General Wang Song hasn't been able to take down the city for so long, I think the only way now is to lure the enemy out. As for how to lure the enemy, it depends on the temperament of the enemy's commanding general. But maybe there are other ways. This depends on the information. I don't know the information about Tieshu City, so I can't make a reasonable judgment. Fenjiuzi suddenly says, Brother Qin, it seems that Senior Uncle Lan said Xiao Yu will come back in a few days. Yes, he should come back in a few days. Qin De says with a nod, then immediately says with a sigh, Immortal Mansion, that's an immortal's mansion. How can it not be safe? Now I'm really a little worried about you, But Qin De also knows that on the path of Xiuzhen, it is almost impossible to be safe in everything. Xiao Yu will definitely come back safely. Don't worry, retired emperor. Su Yuan persuades. Qin De nods. Immediately the three of them take out a chessboard from their storage bracelets and start to play a big game. Father, Uncle Feng, Uncle Su. Qin Yu's voice rises. Qin De, Fenjiuzi and Su Yuan all turn their heads to look. They see Qin Yu and Li Er very happily walking over side by side. General Wang Song slightly bows, then immediately leaves with a smile. Qin De says with great joy, Qin Yu and Li Er went to explore Immortal Mansion. Qin De was very worried in his heart. Now seeing Qin Yu come back safely, he is very excited. This is great. You finally come back safely. But that Miss Li Er's uncle was really right. Qin Yu gasps in admiration. What did Uncle Lan say? Qin Yu was puzzled. Little Yu, that Uncle Lan of yours mentioned the approximate date of your return. You should be back in the next few days. Just now, we were talking about you. Who would have thought that you would really appear? Fenjiuzi said with a smile. Chinda suddenly frowned and said, don't you have two brothers? One is called Ho Fei, and the other is called Kuro. Yes. Imperial Father. Qin suddenly asked in confusion, Imperial Father, did something happen to Fei and Xiao Hei? No, I didn't. Qin hurriedly says, then immediately says with a smile, not long after you left the Qianlong continent, your Uncle Lan took your two brothers away, saying that they were going to a mysterious place to undergo special training. Qin Yu was stunned. A mysterious place? Special training? Only Uncle Lan took Fei and Xiao Hei? Qin Yu asked. Yes, your Uncle Lan asked me to tell you that after you come back, you don't have to hurry to find Ho Fei and Kuro. It will take them a long time to come back. I estimate that this training will take 2 or 3 years. Qinda said with a smile. A mysterious place, special training? Qin Yu frowned and looked at Li Er. Li Er also had a puzzled look on her face. Big brother Qin Yu, I also don't know what mysterious place it is. Li Er really couldn't think of where Uncle Lan took Ho Fei and Kuro. After thinking for a while, Qin Yu said with a smile, forget it. Since Uncle Lan said so, I don't need to worry about it. Fei and Xiao Hei are not weaker than me. They went to that mysterious place to undergo special training. I don't know what realm they will have reached when they come back. Father, I'm going to go back to Lei Mountain House to undergo closed-door training. I estimate that this closed-door training will take about a month. Qin Yu said solemnly. During the trip to the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion, Qin Yu has already discovered very clearly how weak he is. The so-called Third Tribulation Loose Immortals and Fourth Tribulation Loose Devils are. Perhaps they are only the tip of the iceberg on the Tenglong continent. After all, this time the experts there didn't pay too much attention to this so-called Immortal Mansion. Before going in, who knew how extraordinary this Immortal Mansion was? Treasures are crimes. Although other people don't know that I have 4 middle-grade immortal weapons and only 1 middle-grade immortal weapon, perhaps some 6th Tribulation or 7th Tribulation experts will come to make trouble for me. Even though he has returned safely, Qin Yu has not relaxed at all. However, even if they want to make trouble for me, I'll have to see if they have the ability to do so. Qin Yu is very confident. The Lord of Black Flame's ring has the field of heavenly fire and the field of gravity. Now Qin Yu has a middle-grade immortal weapon and an ice-devouring lightning talisman given to him by Li Er. If he is careful, he can even put up a fight against a celestial immortal. Of course, it will be even better if Qin Yu completely absorbs the energy of a second tribulation loose immortal, Yuanying. Okay, you can go into closed-door training at ease. Absolutely nobody will disturb you, Qinda said immediately. Qinda says at once. He also knows what kind of world Qin Yu lives in and what level of experts he knows. What Qin Yu needs the most is to increase his power. In the capital of the Qin dynasty, outside Lei Mountain House in Prince Yu's mansion, Brother Qin Yu, you can go into closed-door training at ease, Li Er says with a smile. Qin Yu, however, is not at ease. He tells her, Li Er, if some powerful experts come and try to snatch that middle-grade immortal weapon or that inkwash painting, don't resist them. Don't try to stop them. Just hand over his brush and ink painting to them. With that, an inkwash painting and a brush appear in Qin Yu's hand. Brother Qin Yu, what are you? Li Er opens her eyes wide. Haha, Li Er, don't tell me you don't know that map is hidden in the Lord of Black Flame's ring. This heaven-sundering diagram is not very useful to me. To be honest, it's not worth it for me to fight some experts until I bleed. As for this brush, even though it can turn into an immortal sword and its power is not small, but... Li Er, you gave me 3 brushes. Plus the one I have, losing 1 brush is nothing. What's important is my family and, you, Qin Yu gazes into Li Er's eyes. I don't want you to be in any danger. Li Er is moved. She is so moved that Li Er wants to tell the secret in her heart. However, when it is at the tip of her tongue, Li Er still does not say it. because Li Er knows that it is better not to tell Qinyu this secret. Brother Qinyu, thank you. Qinyu reaches out his hands and embraces Li Er. After parting ways with Li Er, Qinyu goes straight into the practice room in Lei Mountain House and sits down quietly with legs crossed. A second tribulation loose immortal's yuanying is almost as good as a middle or late Dujia expert's yuanying. It should be enough for me to reach the late planet stage. Qinyu takes out the second tribulation loose immortal's yuanying directly from the Lord of Black Flame's ring. Most of Qinyu's treasures are now in the Lord of Black Flame's ring. When Dame Yanji was fighting with others in the main hall of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, in the end she did not find out why the yuanying disappeared. The stellar transformations technique is now divided into 6 levels: Nebula, Lu Xing, Star Core, Planet, Tribulation and Star stages. Each stage is a transformation and one's power will increase by leaps and bounds. However, Qinyu has only just entered the Star Core stage. He closes his eyes. Misty rays of light appear around Qinyu. They rotate like clouds. In the center of these cloud vortexes is Qinyu, who is radiating golden light. The second tribulation loose immortal's yuanying also turns into various liquids and starts to rotate around Qinyu's body. I'm really looking forward to seeing how powerful I'll become after entering that stage. Qinyu cannot help giving a faint smile on the corners of his mouth. On the Tenglong continent, there are so many Xiaotianists that there are even over 100 million. However, the Qingshu Temple, which only has several tens of thousands of disciples, is the #1 Xiaoxianist school on the Tenglong continent. However, the Qingshu Temple deserves to be called the #1 Xiaoxianist school because it really has too many experts. Various palaces have been built on Mount Qingshu. At the gate of the palaces outside the Qingshu Temple, several disciples are carefully sweeping the ground. These disciples have just been accepted into the Qingshu Temple and are of the lowest generation. They have not even reached the Jindan stage yet. Hey, senior brother, when will master teach us Xiuzhen techniques? A 7 or 8-year-old thin boy with delicate features asks another boy of similar age beside him. Don't worry, junior brother. Being able to enter the Qingshu Temple is already a great fortune for us. We've only been here for a few days. As far as I know, after entering the Qingshu Temple, we won't be taught any techniques for the first month. Only afterwards will we be taught simple foundational techniques. In the first 3 years, you won't be able to practice any high-level techniques. This senior brother seems to know everything very well. The thin boy's big black eyes are filled with disappointment. 3 years. What do you know? Which disciple of the Qingshu Temple isn't an expert? Even though we only have several tens of thousands of disciples and can't compare to the several hundreds of thousands of disciples of the Lanyang School and the Xiang School, our Qingshu Temple is still the #1 school on the Tenglong continent. Why is that? It's not only because of the techniques, but also because of the system. The 3 years we have to lay our foundations are used to train our temperaments. This temperament is very important to practice. The senior brother speaks frankly with assurance. Senior brother, you're so formidable. The thin boy's eyes brighten. Of course. Not only am I formidable, but my cousin is even more formidable. My cousin entered the Qingshu Temple 5 years ago. Now he's reached the Jindan stage and has even been trained as an elite disciple. This senior brother says with his head held high. Don't talk. Someone's coming. This senior brother says at once. At the moment, old Taoist Gon Su is hurrying back on his immortal sword. At the same time, he has already informed the various elders and experts of the School of the News through his transmitter. Fellow Taoist, this place belongs to the Qingshu Temple. Outsiders are not allowed to enter without permission. This senior brother takes a step forward and says in high spirits. At the moment, he is very proud because he can finally speak with the name of the Qingshu Temple. The expression on old Taoist Gon Su's face freezes. At the gate of his own home, he is blocked by a junior. However, at this moment, a series of footsteps are heard. Several tens Xiaoxianists, who are dressed in Taoist robes and have long beards and immortal-like demeanors, walk out quickly. These several tens experts are none other than the Gon and fan generation experts of the Qingshu Temple. Abbot. As soon as those two little boys see the leader, they are shocked and immediately stand aside. Uncle Master, this time you took risks for the sake of the Qingshu Temple and returned with a treasure. The leader is none other than Fan Ming, an expert of the fan generation and the current abbot of the Qingshu Temple. This abbot is not a formidable expert. He has only just overcome the 9th heaven tribulation. Abbot's Uncle Master? The two boys are stupefied. Fan Ming, say no more. This time junior brothers Gong Ming and Gong Shan, as well as that Yen Su, have all perished. I was lucky to be able to come back this time. Otherwise you wouldn't have been able to see me. At the moment, old Taoist Gong Su still has lingering fear when he recalls his trip to the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. Now he feels uncomfortable when he hears Fan Ming's flattery. The faces of those several tens people all change color. Junior brother Gong Su, junior brothers Gong Ming and Gong Shan are both dead? A loose immortal with fluttering white hair says in a slightly anxious manner. Yes, everybody, let's go back and talk. This place isn't a good place to talk. Old Taoist Gong Su says at once. These several tens people then walk straight towards the main hall of the Qingshu Temple. Two loose immortals of the Qingshu Temple have died in a short while. This is an extraordinary event. In the main hall, old Taoist Gong Su tells the story completely. Those disciples of the same generation or a generation lower than him all tremble in their hearts as they listen. The appearance of Dame Yen Ji, those three great experts of the Dragon Clan and the road to hell are all very shocking. Uncle Master, this immortal mansion unexpectedly belongs to an immortal emperor. This is really too shocking. Immortal Emperor Niyang, if I had known earlier that this immortal mansion was left behind by him, I would have asked the seniors of Heavenly Palace to get into action. Abbot Fan Ming says with a sigh. After hearing this story, everybody is shocked by the frightening elemental holy or in the Qingyu immortal mansion. They also feel their hearts palpitate because of this immortal Emperor Niyang's capricious mood swings. After entering the immortal mansion, an immortal emperor's hints are half right and half wrong. This is absolutely fatal. For example, Immortal Emperor Niyang said that the Peach Blossom Spring was very safe, so Reverend Shui Ro and the other experts chose it. But in fact the Peach Blossom Spring is a land of death. As soon as you enter it, you will die. There is no chance of survival at all. Phew! A gust of wind blows. All the experts in the main hall look towards the entrance. They see a thin old man with fluttering white hair standing at the entrance of the main hall. Uncle Master Huan Xian. Old Taoist Gong Su and the other experts of the Gong generation say in shock. They all know that this Uncle Master Huan Xian is an expert in the most important place of the Qingshu Temple, the Heavenly Palace. Unless something major happens, the people of the Heavenly Palace will not come out. Even the abbot cannot enter the Heavenly Palace at will. According to legend, the Heavenly Palace can connect to the immortal world. Gong Su, just now you said Immortal Emperor Niyang? Loose Immortal Huan Xian confirms again with a face full of impatience. Yes, the master of that immortal mansion is none other than Immortal Emperor Niyang. What's the matter? Old Taoist Gong Su says doubtfully. Huan Xian says excitedly, Good, this is really very good. Immortal Emperor Niyang. It really is Immortal Emperor Niyang. This is great. He is extremely excited. He then says at once, Gong Su, follow me to the Heavenly Palace now. My Uncle Master wants to see you. Old Taoist Gong Su feels his heart stop beating at once. Huan Xian's Uncle Master wants to see him. Chapter 219. Heavenly Palace is located at the peak of Mount Qingshu. It is shrouded in clouds and mist all year round. The outside of Heavenly Palace is set up with the legendary immortal formation. Even 12th Tribulation loose immortals can only dream of breaking into it by force. Only 4th Tribulation loose immortals and above can the Qingshu Temple's disciples live in Heavenly Palace. Outside Heavenly Palace, Huan Xian is walking in the formation as if he is taking a leisurely stroll. He easily leads old Taoist Gong Su along the safe path of this formation. Huan Xian does not have a high status in Heavenly Palace, but he is often sent down to pass messages to the members of the Qingshu Temple, so naturally he is very familiar with this formation. Uncle Master Huan Xian, do you know why Grand Uncle Master wants to see me this time? Old Taoist Gon Su asks Huan Xian in a low voice, feeling very nervous. Huan Xian's face is flushed. Haha, Gon Su, I shouldn't have let you know about this, but you'll know in a while, so I'll tell you in detail. He has been very excited ever since he learned that the master of that immortal mansion is Immortal Emperor Ni Yang. At Huan Xian's level, there weren't many things that could excite him. Old Taoist Gon Su's eyes brighten. Gon Su, you've really done a great service this time. Do you know, a long time ago, my Qingshu Temple, the Lanyang School, the Xiang School and some other ancient schools all received an order from the immortal world? Huan Xian's eyes glitter. The immortal world, perhaps it is the place every Xiaxianist wants to enter the most. An order from the immortal world? Old Taoist Gon Su holds his breath. The immortal world ordered that anyone who obtains information about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang must report it to the immortal world right away. Those who perform meritorious deeds will be rewarded by the immortal world. At the same time, the members of this school in the immortal world will also be rewarded. Huan Xian's face reddens with excitement. There are very many mortal worlds below the immortal world. Not only the universe where Qin Yu lives, for example, the universe where Qin Yu's master Lei Wei lives is also a mortal world. This Qingshu Temple is outstanding on the Tanglong continent, but it is only a very weak power in the immortal world. If it can be rewarded by the immortal emperor who sent the order, the entire Qingshu Temple will have a bright future and the status of its elders in the immortal world will also rise. Gon Su, if you make a contribution this time, you'll be the greatest contributor to the Qingshu Temple in the last 1 million years. Huan Xian says while staring at Old Taoist Gon Su. At the moment, Old Taoist Gon Su feels that his throat is very dry. The greatest hero of the Qingshu Temple in the last 1,000,000 years? Even those seniors in the immortal world would benefit from it? This glory makes Old Taoist Gon Su dizzy. Cultivators had a strong sense of belonging to their sections. For cultivators, a sect was like a home to mortals. It could benefit the elders of the school and raise the status of the entire Qingshu Temple in the immortal world. Who else in the past 1,000,000 years had this kind of glory? Alright, stop daydreaming. We've arrived at Heavenly Palace. Hurry up and follow me, Huan Xian said with a smile. At the moment, Huan Xian and Old Taoist Gon Su are standing in front of a 9-story palace. Mount Qingshu is very tall. The place where this heavenly palace was built is already surrounded by clouds and mists. Furthermore, this heavenly palace is even radiating bits of light all over. Old Taoist Gon Su steps into Heavenly Palace with excitement and uneasiness in his heart. Every senior in this heavenly palace is his senior, so how can he dare to be careless? Master, I've brought Gon Su here. When Huan Xian reached the 3rd floor of Heavenly Palace, he stopped. At the moment, a white-robed middle-aged man is standing on the stairs. This man is none other than Huan Xian's master, Du Nan, a 6th Tribulation Loose Immortal. Heavenly Palace has a clear hierarchy. Given Huan Xian's power and status, he can only go up to the 3rd floor at most. In the past, a mere 3rd Tribulation Loose Immortal like Gon Su would have had to salute the seniors on each floor when he came in. But today is different from the past. Old Taoist Gon Su stepped into this 3rd floor directly without meeting any seniors. You're Gon Su? Good, come, follow me. The white-robed middle-aged man is very happy to see Gon Su. He immediately takes him upstairs. This time, they reach the 7th floor of Heavenly Palace. Uncle Masters, I've brought Gon Su here. Du Nan says with a bow outside the door of the 7th floor. That door is opened and a woman with her hair tied up walks out. Seeing Gon Su appear, her face is immediately filled with a smile. Du Nan, seeing this Gon Su come here, I knew that your report was true. Quick, Gon Su, follow me. That woman holds Gon Su's hand and leads him enthusiastically to the 7th floor. For 1,000,000 years, a 3rd Tribulation Loose Immortal has been able to go up to the 7th floor of Heavenly Palace. Even if this is not the end, it is at least unprecedented. After all, even a 6th tribulation loose immortal like Du Nan still cannot go up to the 7th floor. At the moment, old Taoist Gon Su is very well behaved, like a child being held by an adult. Junior sister, Gon Su has come. 3 men walk out. All of them are loose immortals. At the moment, they look at Gon Su with blazing eyes. Gon Su is nervous like a little girl who has been raped. He knows very well that Huan Xian is his senior and Du Nan is Huan Xian's master. To be addressed as Uncle Master by Du Nan means that the people here are obviously at least of the Shan generation. He, Gon Su, has never seen a senior of the Shan generation in so many years. Disciple Gon Su of the Gon generation pays respect to you, Grand Uncle Masters. Gon Su kneels down with both knees and kowtows at once. These 3 men and 1 woman calmly accept Gon Su's kowtow. Immediately, the leader of the 3 men and 1 woman says smilingly, Gon Su, tell us in detail. Do you really know information about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang? Old Taoist Gon Su says respectfully, the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion I enter belongs to Immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang also said that he was a level 8 mystic immortal. Moreover, according to a middle-grade immortal weapon I obtained, he was also a sword immortal. Level 8 mystic immortal, sword immortal. The 3 men and 1 woman stop breathing at once. Even though they know this immortal Emperor Ni Yang's name, they do not know that he is so terrifying. Given their status, they know that immortals are divided into 3 levels: Immortal, Golden Immortal and Mystic Immortal. Each of these 3 levels represents a different status. Immortal immortals can be seen everywhere and are worthless. Golden immortals belong to the upper echelons and are talents roped in by some powers. As for mystic immortals, they are all qualified to call themselves immortal emperors. There are 9 levels of mystic immortals in total. Level 8 mystic immortals are at the peak of the immortal world. Not only is he a level 8 mystic immortal, he is also a sword immortal with extremely strong offense and has long been lost on the Tanglong continent. Don't waste time, senior brother. Quickly let Gon Su send this information to the immortal world. If other schools get this information first, it'll be too late for us to regret it. That woman sobers up from the shock of Immortal Emperor Ni Yang's power and says hurriedly. The leader of the 3 men wakes up and says hurriedly, right, quickly, Gon Su, quickly follow me up to the 9th floor. If other Xiaxianist schools send this information to the immortal world at this moment, it'll be too late for us to regret it. If the immortal world wants to know about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang, the first person who tells the news will naturally be rewarded. However, the second person who tells the news will receive no benefits at all. Gon Su does not dare to disobey, so he hurriedly follows this Shan generation senior upstairs. The other 3 Shan generation experts also follow behind Gon Su. Grand Uncle Master, this time the Xiaxianists who went to the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion are all dead except for me. Old Taoist Gon Su says softly, as if he is afraid of scaring the others. What? Shan Chu looks at Gon Su in shock, but he wakes up in an instant. A big smile immediately blooms on his face. Haha, so the other Xiaxianists are all dead. Very good, since that's the case, they definitely won't be able to tell the immortal world about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang before us. Immediately, Shan Chu regains the demeanor of a loose immortal expert and leads Gon Su up to the 9th floor of Heavenly Palace step by step. The other 3 Shan generation experts also let out sighs of relief. Very few of the many loose immortals in Heavenly Palace have ever come up to the 9th floor of Heavenly Palace, but this 3rd tribulation loose immortal Gon Su has gone straight up to the 9th floor on his first day here. This alone is enough for him to be proud of himself and leave his name in the history of the Qingshu Temple. The other 8 floors of Heavenly Palace had rooms, but the 9th floor was empty. There was only a huge matrix in the middle of the 9th floor. Just by looking at the symbols, one could tell that it was very complicated. The energy was even stronger. Gon Su, follow me into this formation. Shan Chu says and steps into the formation with a step. Gon Su also hurriedly stepped into this formation. Shan Chu's whole body gives off a terrifying aura. Various streams of energy are injected into this formation. Immediately, this formation starts to light up and then dim down. Only after quite a while does it light up completely when Shan Chu's forehead is covered in sweat. Members of the Qingshu Temple? Oh, what do you want from me? An indifferent voice rises through the entire 9th floor. Shan Chu says respectfully at once, I am Shan Chu of the Qingshu Temple. A disciple of my temple has obtained information about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang. We also know that the immortal world wants to know about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang, so You said Immortal Emperor Ni Yang? Are you really talking about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang? The voice, which was indifferent just now has become hurried. Juniors of the Qingshu Temple, this matter is really too big. Don't lie. If you do, it won't be enough even if the entire Qingshu Temple is destroyed. Shan Chu panics inwardly and immediately looks at Old Taoist Gon Su. Old Taoist Gon Su says hurriedly, I am Gon Su. I was lucky enough to enter Immortal Emperor Ni Yang's 9 Swords Immortal Mansion. In the 9 Swords Immortal Mansion, I obtained information about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Tell me, what information do you know about Immortal Emperor Ni Yang? That voice asks. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang is a level 8 Mystic Immortal and a Sword Immortal. Gon Su hurriedly says. That voice is obviously full of excitement. Haha. Yes, Immortal Emperor Ni Yang is a Sword Immortal and a level 8 Mystic Immortal. This is the information that Emperor you gave me. Ordinary immortal emperors don't know about it. You, a brat from the mortal world, know about this information. Looks like it's true. Haha. This immortal world man is obviously very happy. Very good. But this matter is really too big. I have to report it to Emperor Yu. This matter must be decided by him. All of you stay there. If Emperor Yu has an order, I'll contact you and pass it on to you directly. After saying, that voice disappears. The formation also becomes dim. But on the 9th floor, the faces of Shan Chu's 4 martial siblings and Gon Su are all full of joy. Judging from that immortal world man's reaction, it is obvious that this immortal Emperor Ni Yang is precisely the person the immortal world is looking for. Who is Emperor Yu? Shan Chu also feels extremely excited in his heart. Since he's called Emperor, he must be an extraordinary figure in the immortal world. Shan Chu is very certain in his heart. Qianlong Continent, Qin Dynasty's capital, Prince Yu's mansion, in Lei Mountain House. After practicing for almost half a month, Qin Yu has finally reached the peak of the late core stage. By now, Qin Yu has already made preparations to break through the late core stage and reach the early planet stage in one go. In Qin Yu's Dantian, that golden sphere at the early core stage has now become black and even its heat is not strong anymore. However, Qin Yu knows very well that the peak core stage, stellar core, is almost 10 times more powerful than the golden one at the beginning. Only now its energy is restrained. With the stellar core as the core, it absorbs countless stars and gathers them together to form a planet. The most important thing in practicing the planet stage is the holy energy of nature, which is the holy energy of all living things in the world. Let the planet be filled with the holy energy of nature and be filled with the power of life like a planet inhabited by mortals. The originally calm Dantian changes the moment Qin Yu breaks through. Countless stars, which originally revolved according to the shape of a nebula, crazily gather towards the black stellar core in the center in an instant. The stellar flame also rushes into the interior of the black stellar core. Everything becomes agitated. When everything calms down, in the universe of Qin Yu's Dantian, there is only one planet. In the depths of this planet is the stellar core. In the very center of the stellar core is the stellar flame. At the moment, the stellar flame has already broken through the dark blue color and turned light purple. The expression on Qin Yu's face is calm. His hands form a complete handprint, and then he slowly stretches out his hands. At this moment, Qin Yu's mind completely leaves his body, as if he has completely merged with the whole world. The feeling that I am the heavens and the heavens are me makes Qin Yu's whole soul tremble. His eyes can't help but become moist. The entire planet in Qin Yu's Dantian trembles. Bits of green appear on the surface of the planet, and bits of holy energy of nature are produced on the planet in Qin Yu's Dantian. However, at this moment, Lu Xing's tear, which has been integrated into Qin Yu's body and Qin Yu has been unable to control it, suddenly flies out of Qin Yu's body. At this moment, Lu Xing's tear is so dazzling, emitting a green brilliance. This Lu Xing's tear directly flies to the top of Qin Yu's head, and then floats there. Lu Xing's tear slowly rotates above Qin Yu's head. In the process of rotation, the tear of Lu Xing emits bits of green light, which drips onto Qin Yu's body like snowflakes. The bits of green light integrate into Qin Yu's muscles, meridians, bones, and the planet in Qin Yu's Dantian. Chapter 220. As the green light spots fuse with Qin Yu's muscles, Qin Yu's muscle cells continuously rupture and regenerate, transforming again and again as if they have taken growth hormones. The firmness of his body is increasing at a terrifying speed. Not only his muscles, Qin Yu's meridians and Qin Yu's bones and tendons are also undergoing tremendous changes. Just like steel, Qin Yu's bones are also undergoing astonishing changes time and time again. Their sturdiness is also increasing unceasingly. This kind of increasing speed has simply reached an unheard of level. Every part of Qin Yu's body is improving at a terrifying speed as the green light spots fuse with it. Qin Yu's mind is completely merged with heaven and earth. He is quietly feeling the vastness and naturalness of heaven and earth. He simply does not notice the changes in Lu Xing's tear and does not notice that astonishing changes are happening to himself. In Qin Yu's Dantian, there is only one planet in his Dantian. This planet was formed by the black nucleus absorbing countless stars and is also the core of Qin Yu's energy. At this moment, the surface of the planet is producing specks of green. However, when the green light spots of Lu Xing's tear fuse with it, the planet has undergone tremendous changes. In the past, there were only specks of green, but at this moment, the entire planet was rapidly covered in green at a visible speed. In just a short while, there was a dense heaven and earth spirit chi, and this heaven and earth spirit chi was purer than the heaven and earth spirit chi outside. Lu Xing's tear is still floating above Qin Yu's head and rotating slowly. Specks of green light spots float down and enter every part of Qin Yu's body. These specks of green seem to have a magical power, causing miraculous changes to Qin Yu's entire body. Perhaps even 12th Tribulation loose immortals and loose devils would not be able to explain all this. After a long time, Qin Yu's body stops transforming. At this moment, Qin Yu's body has become 10-fold or even 100-fold stronger than it was in the past. However, green light spots are still falling from Lu Xing's tear. Qin Yu's body could no longer absorb the energy and transform. Green dots of light floated down and merged with Qin Yu's muscle cells, hiding in every part of Qin Yu's body. Since his body could no longer absorb it, he could only store it in every part of Qin Yu's body. It was not only Qin Yu's body that had changed. Qin Yu's soul was also undergoing a rapid change. It was unknown whether it was because Qin Yu had merged with the world or because of Lu Xing's teardrop, but Qin Yu's soul was rapidly solidifying and the soul power within his mind was becoming purer and stronger. Qin Yu felt the planet in his Dantian shake. The feeling of being one with the heavens and earth disappeared. Lu Xing's tear once again entered Qin Yu's body. The tear of Lu Xing did not seem to have any changes despite emitting so many green light spots. What happened? As soon as Qin Yu scanned the inside of his body with his holy sense, he was greatly astonished. Perhaps even Yen Mo's black dragon body was far inferior to Qin Yu's current body. Qin Yu felt that his entire body was filled with tremendous power. This power was so great that Qin Yu's heart trembled. What's actually going on with my body? Even though the stellar transformations can temper the body, it shouldn't be so astonishing. Perhaps now I can fight against Duja stage experts only by relying on my body. Qin Yu was astonished in his heart. However, was it really as Qin Yu had guessed? At the moment Qin Yu still did not completely know that his body was so astonishing. The planet in his Dantian has unexpectedly been completely covered in green. The holy aura of the world is actually so pure. Qin Yu was even more astonished. During training at the planet stage, The transformation of the star core and the change of the holy aura on the surface of the planet usually happen together. As one's power deepened, the star core would become hotter and hotter. At the same time, the holy aura on the surface of the planet would become denser and denser, and more green would appear. However, at the moment the planet's surface was completely covered in green. Being completely covered in green meant that one had reached the late-stage planet stage. However, the star core inside the planet was only slightly dark red, which meant that Qin Yu's true strength was only at the early-stage planet stage. After all, at the late-stage planet stage, the star core was like a fireball. What's going on? What happened? Why did the surface of the planet in my Dantian suddenly reach the peak of the planet stage? It's full of holy aura, and it's even denser than the late-stage planet stage described in the stellar transformations. However, the star core is only at the early-stage planet stage. Qin Yu was at a loss. Compared with the energy in his body, the strength of Qin Yu's muscles and bones at the moment was even more terrifying. Why was this happening? Qin Yu still could not understand. When did my soul become so condensed? This level should be at the late-stage tribulation stage. When Qin Yu checked his soul, he was shocked again. The fusion of one's mind with heaven and earth would indeed increase the degree of condensing one's soul. However, in the past, Qin Yu's soul was almost at the late-stage Kongming stage. Qin Yu's soul had made a breakthrough in the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion's hallucinatory demonic realm. Even if it had fused with heaven and earth, it should have been at the early-stage tribulation stage. However, the degree of condensing one's soul at the moment should be at the late-stage tribulation stage. Is all this due to the fusion of my mind with heaven and earth, or? Qin Yu looked at his chest. This mysterious thing, Qin Yu only thought of Lu Xing's tears. Even now, Qin Yu still could not figure out the mystery of Lu Xing's tears. Then, Qin Yu stopped thinking about it and continued to absorb the Yuanying energy to cultivate. Almost half a month later. At the moment, the holy energy on the outside of the planet in Qin Yu's Dantian is extremely pure. The core of the planet in the depths of the core is radiating blazing energy like a fireball. The stellar flame in the deepest part of the core is almost purple in color. Late-stage planet realm. After absorbing the Yuanying energy of the second tribulation scattered immortal, Qin Yu finally reached the late-stage planet realm. Qin Yu stood up with an excited smile on his face. When Master reached the mid-stage tribulation passing immortal stage, he easily killed Deshang stage experts and so many tribulation passing immortal stage experts. In the end, he even went through the 9 stage heaven tribulation. Now, if I use the energy of the Sun True Core, it will be easy for me to defeat tribulation passing immortal stage experts. If I rely on the 2 fields of the Lord of Black Flame's ring, it won't be impossible for me to defeat Deshang stage experts. The star core of the planet in his Dantian was now like a fireball. In the stellar transformations, the star core that had reached the state of a fireball was called the Sun True Core. During the tribulation passing immortal stage, the focus of cultivation was the Sun True Core. When Lei Wei reached the mid-stage tribulation passing immortal stage, he easily killed so many experts by relying on the power of the Sun True Core. Compared to Lei Wei in those days, Qin Yu also has the Lord of Black Flame's ring and a middle-grade immortal weapon. If he uses all of them, it will indeed not be difficult for him to deal with Deshang stage experts. However, at the moment Qin Yu does not know that apart from the Sun True Core and the Lord of Black Flame's ring, he also has a middle-grade immortal weapon. Apart from the ice-devouring lightning talisman, he also has a body with terrifying offensive power. Without experiencing a real battle, it will be very difficult for Qin Yu to understand how formidable his body, which has been transformed by Lu Xing's tears, is. The Tenglong continent, in the heavenly palace on Mount Qingshu, the 4 loose immortal experts of Shan Chu and Gon Su have not dared to leave the 9th floor of this heavenly palace all along because they are waiting for orders from the immortal world. But this kind of waiting is the most unbearable. All of a sudden, various beams of light shine from the densely packed seals in the middle of the formation. The eyes of the 4 Shan brothers and Gon Su brighten at once. Shan Chu and Gon Su immediately step into that formation. They have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Listen up, disciples of the Qingshu Temple. Be respectful at once. The master who came to ask you is Emperor Yu's right-hand man. He's much more powerful than ordinary immortal emperors. If anyone dares to annoy him, even I will make your Qingshu temple suffer the consequences, not to mention him getting into action. That voice which was talking to the Qingshu temple rises. Hearing this, Shan Chu is immediately frightened and nervous. He hurriedly says, "Don't worry. We definitely won't dare to make him angry. We'll definitely tell him everything clearly." Good God, the one who asked them is unexpectedly an immortal emperor-level expert. Moreover, he is much more powerful than ordinary immortal emperors and is Emperor Yu's right-hand man. How powerful is he? What level of mystic immortal is he? All right, wait quietly. My master will be here in a minute. After saying so, that voice disappears. Shan Chu and Gon Su wait quietly. In this formation, the two of them do not even dare to breathe loudly. After all, the formation is still connected at the moment, so even if they breathe, perhaps the immortal world will be able to hear them. If they annoy an immortal emperor-level expert, they will be in trouble. Even though the conversation has only been going on for a while, each day feels like a year to Shan Chu and Gon Su. Disciple of the Qingshu Temple, Gon Su, I heard that you know some information about Ni Yang. Is it true? A lazy voice rises. It has finally come. Gon Su takes a deep breath, then says respectfully at once, Disciple Gon Su indeed knows some information about immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Oh, tell me about it in detail. That voice is still lazy, seemingly unconcerned. But just by listening to that voice, old Taoist Gon Su has a feeling of being oppressed. That is the natural aura of a person in a high position. Old Taoist Gon Su says carefully, My lord, a few days ago, I entered the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion with some Xiationists. In the process, I learned some information about immortal Emperor Ni Yang. That immortal Emperor Ni Yang claimed to be a level 8 mystic immortal. From the immortal weapons we obtained, we determined that he was a sword immortal because the writing brush he left behind contained extremely fierce sword energy. Oh. The lazy voice continues, Tell me about the process of you entering the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion in detail. Also, tell me about those treasures you obtained. Yes. At that time, quite a few people and I entered the Nine Swords Immortal Mansion. As soon as we did, we fell into the hallucinatory magic land. Oh, hallucinatory magic land? That lazy voice says in surprise. Then you entered a palace called the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, didn't you? Gon Su says happily, Yes, the immortal mansion we entered afterwards was the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. At first we were still fighting over that mansion guarding steel. Only in the end did we know that the core of the Qingyu Immortal Mansion was a piece of elemental holy essence. There is a hint of delight in that lazy voice. Yes, at that time Liang even showed off to us when he forged the Qingyu Immortal Mansion. It was really made with elemental holy essence as its core. Now this immortal emperor-level expert already believes Gon Su. Alright, you don't need to talk about what dangers you passed. Tell me about those treasures you obtained. Now the lazy voice is somewhat serious. Gon Su also feels that the atmosphere has become tense. He answers at once, At the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, they should have given us this immortal mansion. Too bad we didn't find any elemental holy essence. When we got to the treasure storing tower in the inner hall, we got a holy beast collar on the first floor and a middle-grade immortal writing brush and an inkwash painting on the second floor. But there were only 3 of those inkwash paintings, so I didn't get any. Oh. Let me ask you, did the writing brush and the holy beast collar leave any information about the Ni Yang realm behind? That voice has become completely serious without the least bit of laziness. Gon Su takes a deep breath. He is extremely nervous because of the pressure contained in those words. No, the holy beast collar and the writing brush were only ordinary immortal weapons. There was nothing special about them. Only some sword energy was left behind by the writing brush. When old Taoist Gon Su says to this point, he suddenly remembers the appearance of Dame Yen Ji, Qin Yu and Yen Mo when they were wild with joy after obtaining the inkwash paintings. Ah, my lord, I have something to say. It might have something to do with the Ni Yang realm you mentioned. Gon Su says respectfully. Oh, quickly say it. That immortal emperor says hurriedly. At the moment his mind is completely focused on what Gon Su said. My lord, when we were on the second floor of the treasure storing tower, 3 of us obtained the ink-wash paintings. When they obtained the ink-wash paintings, they were so wild with joy that their whole bodies were even trembling and their faces were filled with blood. At that time I found it very strange. They've seen the Qingyu Immortal Mansion and other treasures. What kind of treasures could make them so excited that they forgot themselves? I think this might have something to do with the Ni Yang realm you mentioned. Old Taoist Gon Su says nervously. That voice, however, goes silent. After a while, who are those 3 people? That immortal emperor asks. Old Taoist Gon Su hurriedly says, of those 3 people, 1 is from the Dragon Clan, 1 is an expert from the Inue Palace, a big Xioma sect, and the last is only an ordinary expert. But he has a loose immortal behind him, an extremely formidable loose immortal. The Dragon Clan, the Devil World. Perhaps they'll report back to the Demon World and the Devil World as soon as they get back. It's a bit troublesome. There's only a loose immortal behind this 3rd person? There is a hint of disdain in that immortal emperor's voice. The Qingshu Temple, listen up. You must obtain the ink-wash paintings of the 3rd person at all costs. We'll compensate you 10-fold or 100-fold for everything you've lost. We'll also bestow you even more treasures. Compensate you 10-fold or 100-fold for everything you've lost. Bestow even more treasures? Shan Chu is overjoyed in his heart. He says at once, don't worry, my lord. I'll set out with my 3 martial brothers and sisters right away. We'll definitely obtain that ink-wash painting at all costs. Even if he's a 12th tribulation loose immortal, our Qingshu Temple will still do everything possible to obtain it at all costs. For the sake of the Qingshu Temple's future, the Qingshu Temple, which has been passed down for 1,000,000 years, has already decided to risk everything. Chapter 221. In the headquarters of the Dragon Clan, Yen Mo is sitting on a black wooden chair with a solemn expression. Mo, you've finally come back. A golden-haired old man looks at Yen Mo and says smilingly. This golden-haired old man is none other than an elder of the Yen clan, an 8th tribulation loose demon. In the Dragon Clan, in terms of nobility, the highest is the Golden Dragon Clan. Silver dragons and black dragons come in second, followed by azure dragons, red dragons, purple dragons and other dragon species. This 8th tribulation loose demon golden dragon has an extremely high status in the Yen clan. Of course, there are also emperors in the Golden Dragon Clan, the 5-clawed golden dragon. However, 5-clawed golden dragons are too rare so they cannot be counted as a clan. Yen Mo takes a look at the golden-haired old man and suddenly says with a smile, 3rd Elder, the place Yen Lang went to just now seems to be the sacred place of the clan, right? Yes. 3rd Elder strokes his long golden beard and nods smilingly. The sacred place should be able to communicate with the immortal world. Yen Mo seems to have a card up his sleeve. As soon as Yen Lang came back and mentioned Immortal Emperor Ni Yang, you guys became so nervous and immediately let him enter the sacred place. But after a while, the dignified 3rd Elder unexpectedly personally came to talk to me, a mischievous junior of the Black Dragon Clan. Yen Mo stares at 3rd Elder. If you say you don't have any special purpose, do you think I'll believe you, 3rd Elder? Mo, 3rd Elder says gratifyingly, it's very hard to really grow up under the wings of the elders. Those descendants living inside the Dragon Clan are far inferior to you in both scheming and temperament. That's right. I did come to find you for a special purpose. I hope you can give that ink-wash painting to our entire Dragon Clan. It has something to do with the Ni Yang realm? Yen Mo guesses. A smile immediately blooms on 3rd Elder's face. Just as the seniors of the demon world expected, this ink-wash painting really has something to do with the Ni Yang realm. 3rd Elder didn't lie to you. This Ni Yang realm involves a lot and isn't something ordinary loose immortals and loose devils can get involved in. You'd better not get involved in it. When Yen Mo mentioned the Ni Yong realm, he had already made up his mind. I have two small conditions. Yen Mo says calmly. Speak. Third Elder says smilingly. I can browse through the clan's secret collections and I can enter the dragon pool to train at any time. I believe that these two conditions are far less precious than the value of an ink painting. Yen Mo says calmly. He knows very well in his heart that he won't be able to protect such a treasure like the inkwash painting even if he keeps it with him. Therefore, he might as well exchange it for some practical benefits. He could browse the clan's treasures to his heart's content and cultivate in the dragon pool at any time. Perhaps other than the gold dragon, all the other dragons dreamed of these 2 points. Golden dragons had inherited memories, so they didn't need to learn the secrets of the dragon race. As the noblest dragon race, it was their right to cultivate in the dragon pool. However, the black dragon and silver dragon did not have this opportunity. All right, I agree. Third Elder nodded. Yen Mo took out the inkwash painting and tossed it to the Third Elder. The moment the Third Elder caught the inkwash painting, he couldn't help but feel slightly excited. Yen Mo stood up and prepared to leave the hall and head back to his residence. However, when he reached the threshold of the hall, Yen Mo suddenly turned around. Third Elder, let me ask you something. What kind of treasure does this Ni Yong realm actually have? Yen Mo asked the Third Elder. He had always been puzzled by this question. The Third Elder received the inkwash painting and said smilingly, let me tell you, the treasure in the Ni Yong realm is something that even the Dragon Emperor of my dragon race, one of the top super experts in the demon world, wants very much. Don't you think this treasure is very precious? Oh. After getting the answer, Yen Mo turned around and left. Don't you regret giving this inkwash painting to me? If you go in and check it yourself, you might be able to obtain that treasure. After all, this kind of supreme treasure can only be obtained by those who are fated to obtain it. The Third Elder says with a faint smile. If you have the life to take it, you have to have the life to use it. With my little power, even if I obtain a more formidable treasure, I still won't be a match for you, Third Elder, let alone for Head Elder. But the chief of my dragon race is even more formidable than Head Elder. Right, the low-grade immortal weapon that Yen Lang gave me to use at that time belongs to me now. Yen Mo's voice arrives, but he has already left. At this moment, 6 or 7 old men walk out from the back of the hall. The one in the front is wearing a golden crown on his head. Even his eyes are golden. Chief, this inkwash painting is actually the Heaven Sundering diagram, one of the maps leading to the Ni Yong realm. If you have this inkwash painting, you can enter the Ni Yong realm with 6 people. Otherwise, even if you find the Ni Yong realm, you won't be able to enter without the inkwash painting. The Third Elder says with a bow. The strongest clan in the dragon race is the Ao clan, followed by the Yen clan. This chief of the dragon race is neither from the Ao clan nor the Yen clan, but he has obtained the respect of all the dragons. This is because this chief of the dragon race is the emperor of the golden dragon race, a 5-clawed golden dragon. I remember that child Yen Lang said that of the 3 inkwash paintings, one is with us, one is in the Inue Palace, and the last one has fallen into the hands of a youngster called Chinyu, right? The chief of the dragon race says with an indifferent smile. Chief, what you mean is, to seize Chinyu's heaven-sundering diagram? The Third Elder guesses. The chief of the dragon race shakes his head and says, no need. Having one heaven-sundering diagram is already enough for us. As long as we have one, no matter what, we'll be able to reach the Ni Yong realm and enter it. What's the point of wasting energy to fight for it? Those who want to fight for it are probably loose immortals and some loose demon experts. That youngster Qin Yu, obtaining the inkwash painting, is it a blessing or a curse for him? The chief of the dragon race sighs. He is actually sighing for Qin Yu. Times not only the dragon race, the immortal world, the demon world, the devil world and the mortal world all have communication tools. The news of immortal Emperor Ni Yong naturally spreads to the top very quickly. The big shots of the immortal world, the demon world and the devil world also start to order the experts under their control to seize the inkwash painting. A storm is brewing. However, the main character of this matter, Qin Yu, is instead enjoying life to the fullest with Li Er at the moment. In the Qianlong continent, the autumn wind is bleak, yellow leaves are floating down. Qin Yu and Li Er are sitting under a big tree that can be encircled by 3 people and playing Go. After Qin Yu finished his training, he and Li Er are traveling all over the Qianlong continent. They are either at the peak of a snow-capped mountain, or in the depths of 1,000 miles of pine trees, or at the bank of a jade lake, or next to a mountain stream and waterfall. Big brother Qin Yu, I have news about Fei and Xiao Hei. Li Er places a black piece and says with a smile. Qin Yu's hand pauses, a happy expression gushes out from his face. Really? At that time, Uncle Lon said that he would take them to a mysterious place. Where is that place? Also, when will Fei and Xiao Hei come back? Qin Yu now wants to see his brothers immediately. I also don't know where it is, but Fei and Xiao Hei are now very powerful. According to Uncle Lan's news, they should have almost reached the early stage of passing calamity. Li Er says with a smile that is not a smile, Big brother Qin Yu, as the big brother, you can't lose to your 2 brothers. You have to work hard. Early stage of passing calamity? Qin Yu is surprised. Others don't know the strength of Ho Fei and Kuro, but Qin Yu is very clear about it. Ho Fei and Kuro's soul realm is far slower than Qin Yu's, but why is it that in these 2 years, Ho Fei and Kuro are faster than him? From the early stage of Dongshu to the early stage of passing calamity. This speed is a bit too terrifying. After all, Kuro and Ho Fei's soul cultivation is not as abnormal as Qin Yu's Lu Xing's crying speed. But how can Uncle Lon lie? Doubt. Qin Yu's heart is full of doubts. Of course he is happy that his brothers are improving, but why are they improving so fast? Li Er they. Big brother Qin Yu, don't ask me. I also don't know what method Uncle Lon used. When you see Uncle Lon, you can ask him yourself. Li Er says with a charming wink. Qin Yu gives a smile. Why should he care so much? The more powerful his brothers are, the better. Li Er, our next stop should be the Ming Dynasty's territory. Where do you plan to go first? Qin Yu's mind turns back to their sightseeing trip. You decide. During the period when Qin Yu came out of closed-door training, Azure Dragon Yen Lang communicated with Qin Yu through their transmitters. Since the 9 Spirits Hall and the Blue River Province have been destroyed, this underwater Xiaoyao world will naturally be divided between the Stella Tower and the Blue Dragon Temple. After a discussion, the number of caves under the Stella Tower's command has been expanded to 18. This is the result of the Stella Tower annexing the 9 Spirits Hall and a small part of the Blue River Province. Even so, the number of caves under the Stella Tower is still a bit less than that of the Blue Dragon Temple. But now that the Stella Tower has 18 caves under its command, it is already much more powerful than it was in the past, so naturally it has more horses. At the moment, 4 rainbows are shooting extremely fast towards the north in the sky above the ocean. Xiationists will naturally be able to tell that these are the flying rainbows of experts. These 4 experts are none other than the real experts of the Qingshu Temple, Shan Chu and his 3 junior brothers and sisters. Shan Chu is an 8th Tribulation Loose Immortal and his 3 junior brothers and sisters are 7th Tribulation Loose Immortals. An 8th Tribulation Loose Immortal and 3 7th Tribulation Loose Immortals. Moreover, the 4 of them have practiced for over 10,000 years, so naturally they have a joint attack formation. They are not afraid even if they encounter a 9th Tribulation Loose Immortal. Senior brother, what's the background of that loose immortal called Uncle Lon? I've already talked with the seniors of the Qingshu Temple in the chaotic astral ocean. It seems they've never heard of such a formidable loose immortal. One of Shan Chu's junior brothers, Shan Yen, asks doubtfully. That's right, senior brother. According to Gon Su, this loose immortal called Uncle Lon is very likely to be able to forge middle-grade immortal weapons. That Stellar Tower woman whom Gon Su and the others met had a protective magic treasure that simply ignored Hua Kan and Hua Lan's attacks. That magic treasure should be a middle-grade immortal weapon. Shan Ming says, forging middle-grade immortal weapons is really too difficult. Even in the chaotic astral ocean, perhaps the number of people who have middle-grade holy weapons can be counted with 2 hands. Of course, this does not mean that those who do not have middle-grade immortal weapons do not have the power to forge middle-grade immortal weapons. 10th Tribulation loose immortals have the power to do so, but almost none of them have middle-grade immortal weapons because the materials and forging methods used are rare. No matter how formidable he is, we won't necessarily be able to meet this loose immortal expert. Even if we do, presumably he'll know the name of our Qingshu temple and the reputations of our seniors. I believe he'll also know what to do. Shan Chu says indifferently. The experts of the Shan generation are not the most formidable of the Qingshu temple. Loose immortals who have reached the 4th tribulation of the Qingshu temple can enter Heavenly Palace. But, not all of them have entered Heavenly Palace. Many formidable loose immortals have entered the chaotic astral ocean. After all, the chaotic astral ocean has many treasures of nature and even elemental holy rock. The chaotic astral ocean is a treasured place suitable for loose immortals, loose devils and loose demons to practice. This is also the reason why Shan Chu dares to say that their Qingshu temple can obtain an inkwash painting even if it is a 12th tribulation loose immortal. The Stellar Tower. Now the Stellar Tower is much more powerful than it was in the past. The number of guards has even reached 200,000. Various disciplined guards are training underwater. Some Zooist experts are even supervising everything. With the rise of the tide, the greater the influence, the more experts there would be in the Star Pavilion. 200,000. What a huge number this is. Just by forming a square formation, they are so densely packed that one cannot see the end of them. The Stellar Tower itself contains the great heavenly stellar formation, so these 200,000 guards will form a part of the formation when they return to their residences. Even though most of them are in the Jindan stage or Yuanying stage, once they return to their positions, their combined power will be fused with the great heavenly stellar formation. Perhaps even loose immortals will not have an easy time against it. The great heavenly stellar formation has been lost in the Xiuzhen world for a long time. Qin Yu of the Stellar Tower, quickly come out. A deep voice resounds through the several hundred li radius around the Stellar Tower. At the same time, that voice is still reverberating non-stop at the bottom of the ocean. All the gods of the Stellar Tower immediately become alert. The numerous guardians also become vigilant. Pass down my order. The newcomer should be a top expert. All gods return to their positions and prepare to activate the great heavenly stellar formation right away. The Stellar Tower's manager Yazhong's face changes color and he immediately gives an order. Just sensing the energy contained in that voice makes everybody's heart tremble. Shan Chu originally wanted to give the newcomer a shock, but who could have imagined that he would scare Yazhong so much that he immediately prepares to activate the formation. Oh, this Stellar Tower is so strange. Shan Ming, the only woman among the 4 loose immortals, says doubtfully as she looks at the Stellar Tower. At the moment, the Stellar Tower is illusory. An ancient and vigorous aura blows against the face. As soon as those 200,000 guards enter their residences, they immediately fuse into a part of the formation and become inseparable. The power of the Stellar Tower's formation immediately rises a lot. Even though there are a lot of people in a formation set up by some mediocre Zooists, how can they compare with me, an 8th tribulation loose immortal? Shan Chu waves his hand. A white sword ray shoots directly at the main gate of the Stellar Tower. It is none other than Shan Chu's immortal sword. With a rumbling sound, the light of the Stellar Tower's formation unexpectedly changes several times. Obviously, it is still somewhat difficult for it to withstand the attack. But in the end, it still withstands it. Who's the newcomer? He's actually able to shake this great formation? In the main hall of the Stellar Tower, the manager and the guardians are sitting with legs crossed. Their faces all change color greatly when they feel the formation shaking. Chapter 222. In the main hall of the Stellar Tower, Manager Yazhong and the other guardians look at each other. Their eyes are full of astonishment. Guardians, now that the 3 tower heads are not here, we can't let the enemy break the formation no matter what. I'm going to send a message to the tower heads and ask them to hold on until they come back. Yazhong sweeps the guardians present with a solemn expression. Almost all the guardians present are at the Dongshu stage or above. At the moment they all look solemn and are full of determination. At the moment, outside the stellar tower, Shan Chu and the other 3 loose immortals are shocked because this formation can withstand the attack of Shan Chu's immortal sword. It should be known that Shan Chu is an 8th tribulation loose immortal. What kind of power does he have? Even a Deshang stage expert cannot withstand a blow from him. In the eyes of the experts of the Tenglong continent, the Xiationists in the north of the chaotic astral ocean are very weak. In fact, this is indeed the case. However, a formation that can withstand a blow from an 8th tribulation loose immortal has unexpectedly appeared in the north of the chaotic astral ocean. How is this possible? The defense formation of a small stellar tower can withstand the attack of my immortal sword? Shan Chu is shocked. But after a while he gives a smile. I see. Perhaps this is the formation left behind by that loose immortal, Uncle Lon. Shan Ming says smilingly with narrowed eyes, Senior brother, it looks like this loose immortal is really formidable. He was unexpectedly able to set up such a formation. But, even though this formation is formidable, the person in charge of it is obviously too weak. Senior brother, we don't need to waste time. Let's attack together and break this formation directly first. Shan Chu looks at the stellar tower, which is shining with dazzling light, and nods his head. The defense of this stellar tower's formation is formidable, but if Shan Chu really goes all out and uses his unique skill, he is still certain that he can break it. But now he has 3 junior brothers and sisters here. With them here, why should he go all out? 2 junior brothers and sisters, get ready to form the formation. Shan Chu shouts in a low voice. Immediately, his body radiates light. A low-grade immortal sword soars directly into the sky. Shan Yan, Shan Ming and Shan Yan also control their own immortal swords at once. The 4 immortal swords each radiate light of different colors. Furious lightning, break. Shan Chu slightly opened his mouth. He made a hand seal and pointed with one hand, saying softly. The 4 immortal swords spun and flew towards the stellar pavilion. The flying speed of the immortal swords was very fast. When they spun, they were like a drill bit. In a trance, it was as if a bolt of lightning had struck. With a boom, the entire star pavilion's formation shook. Bang! Like a bubble bursting, the cosmic stellar formation is broken by the joint efforts of the 4 loose immortals. At this moment, all 200,000 gods were heavily injured and vomiting blood. Pooh! In the main hall, all the protectors spat out mouthfuls of blood and their faces turned pale. Only the sound of wind can be heard. In a short while, the 4 loose immortals directly fly to the main hall. The person in the lead has a fierce look in his eyes. His aura is like Mount Tai, completely covering the entire main hall. Shan Chu glances indifferently at Manager Yezhong and the protectors present. It seems as if he does not see these people. Indeed, in the eyes of an 8th tribulation loose immortal like him, these Dongshu stage experts can be completely ignored. Speak, where's the Stellar Pavilion's master, Qin Yu? Shan Chu says indifferently. Even though Shan Chu's voice is not fierce, it contains an irresistible pressure. That is the will of a person in a high position. Yezhong takes a deep breath then slightly bows, saying, Senior, I'm Manager Yezhong of the Stellar Pavilion. May I know why you're looking for our master? Am I the one asking you a question or are you the one asking me a question? Shan Chu asks softly in reply. There is a faint cold smile on the corners of his mouth. Yezhong is startled. His heart cannot help jumping. He has come with ill intentions. Shan Chu's younger brother Shan Yan looks coldly at Yezhong. We're here to look for Qin Yu. You only need to answer our questions. Don't ask too much. If you answer honestly, it'll be fine. Otherwise, I don't mind killing some Zuyoists. Xiaxianists are narcissistic and always look down on Xiamoists and Zuyoists. Xiamoists, however, are ruthless and vicious. Zuyoists are the most powerful, so they usually do whatever they want to do. I'm just a manager. As for where Master is going or where he's going to practice, how can a manager like me know? After all, Master Qin Yu is the leader of our Stellar Pavilion. Oh, Senior, if you go and ask someone, he may know the whereabouts of Master. Ye Zhong says smilingly. Speak. Shan Chu says indifferently. Senior Lon, Pavilion Master always calls him Uncle Lon. He's a loose immortal, so Pavilion Master respects him very much. I think Senior Lon should know where Pavilion Master is. Zhuang Zhong says in detail. Shan Chu stares at Ye Zhong with an indifferent expression just now. His eyes flash with fierceness. Shan Chu didn't want to see the unfathomable Uncle Lon the most because according to the information he had, the protective magic treasure on Hitler's body at that time was really too powerful. It was absolutely impossible for it to be a low-grade immortal item. It's at least a middle-grade immortal weapon. From this, he can figure out part of Uncle Lan's power. Facing Shan Chu's gaze, Ye Zhong says with a terrified expression, Senior, I'm telling you the truth. If I want to know the whereabouts of Master, perhaps I can only ask Senior Lon. Could it be that I said something I shouldn't have and offended Senior? Humph, Ye Zhong, you're really good at pretending. I hate this kind of people the most. Treacherous villains. Shan Chu is very angry. He can feel that Ye Zhong mentioned Uncle Lon to intimidate him. This makes him very unhappy. Extremely unhappy. If he has enough power to deal with Uncle Lon, he might not care about Ye Zhong's little trick at all. However, he is not sure he can deal with Uncle Lon, so he is very angry. Treacherous little crab. You think I'm afraid of your Senior Lon, so you're using him to intimidate me? Shan Chu looks coldly at Ye Zhong. Ye Zhong's heart skips a beat. Not good. As soon as Shan Chu thinks of his Qingshu Temple Senior in the chaotic astral ocean and what that immortal emperor said at the end, a hint of arrogance appears on his face. Senior Lon? Little crab, you're wrong. Even though he's a 12th tribulation loose immortal, he can't possibly stop my Qingshu Temple. Before I find the ink-wash painting, I hate you, little crab, very much. Fiendish devil, all can be eliminated. Shan Chu waves his sleeve indifferently. Xiaxianists refer to Xiamoists and Zuyoists as fiendish devils. In their eyes, killing fiendish devils is a matter of course. Of course, if a fiendish devil is too powerful, Xiaxianists will enthusiastically call him fellow Xiaxianist. In the Xiozhen world, people who are absolutely upright and kind-hearted are very rare. Fiendish devil, all can be eliminated. Haha, little fella, your words are really rude. That faintly discernible voice rises in the entire main hall. At the same time, everybody present feels a kind of spiritual pressure, including the 8th tribulation loose immortal Shan Chu. So powerful. Shan Chu's face changes color. Uncle Lon, who is dressed very casually in a blue gown, is standing in front of Ye Zhong and looking at the 4 Shan Chu's group of 3 with an indifferent smile. That indifferent smile in his eyes, however, makes the 4 loose immortals' hearts feel cold. As far as I know, in the immortal world, or spaces that can be called the demon world and the devil world, the power of your immortal world is only half of that of the demon world. Even in this mortal world, it's still the same, right? Uncle Lon says smilingly. The immortal world, the demon world and the devil world are not in different spaces. In fact, these 3 worlds are all in the same space. It's just that this universe is extremely large. The immortal world, the demon world and the devil world each occupy a part of this space. This also leads to the complicated relationship between the immortal emperors, devil emperors and demon emperors. This is also the reason why the experts of the 3 sides are so familiar with Ni Yang's realm. You are that Senior Lon? Shan Chu is not the least bit afraid. Correct. Uncle Lon nods his head. How do you know that the immortal world, the demon world and the devil world are in the same space? At the moment, Shan Chu is still shocked in his heart. This information is common knowledge to immortals and devils, but it is a secret to ordinary loose immortals and loose devils. He only knows some secrets because he often talks with the immortal world's emissary. Uncle Lon says with a loud laugh, Junior, how much do you know? The immortal world, the devil world and the demon world are in the same space. This space is only of a higher level than the space where the mortal world is. To some extent, there is no distinction between immortals and devils in space. There is only a difference in energy levels. When the energy in a Xiaxionist's body is high enough, he will ascend to a higher level space. When Xiaxionists, Xiamoists and Zuyoists ascend, they will naturally fly to the closest space with a higher energy level. This space is called the immortal world by Xiaxionists, the devil world by Xiamoists and the demon world by Zuyoists. In fact, they are all the same place. Shan Chu, Shan Ming and the other three all have a shocked expression. Uncle Lon suddenly bursts out laughing. I suddenly remembered something. You Xiaxionists often tell your disciples that the devil world and the demon world are places of chaos and fighting. They are bloody and filthy. The immortal world is a beautiful and perfect place. How could those disciples know that the immortal world, the devil world and the demon world are in fact in the same space? It is indeed very funny and worth laughing at. Xiaxionists belittle the demon world and the devil world as much as they like according to their imaginations, thinking of them as unbearable. However, in fact, the demon world, the devil world and the immortal world are all in the same space. The immortal world is the devil world is the demon world and the demon world is the immortal world. Senior Lon, may I ask how many loose immortal tribulations you have undergone? Do you know Reverend Ming Liang of our Qingshu temple? Shan Chu suddenly says. This Reverend Ming Liang is not an outsider. He is Shan Chu's senior, the most powerful expert of the Qingshu temple and a 12th tribulation loose immortal. You don't need to know how many tribulations I've undergone. Reverend Ming Liang? Where is he from? I don't know him. Uncle Lon says indifferently, as if he is talking about an ant. Shan Chu's face changes color. Fellow Xiaxionist, don't go too far. Reverend Ming Liang of our Qingshu temple is now a 12th tribulation loose immortal. Even the masters of the 3 big islands in the chaotic astral ocean don't dare to look down on him. You unexpectedly said he was a nobody. Shan Chu is angry. Reverend Ming Liang? I don't know him, but I do know the little golden pang of the 3 big islands. I've already talked with you for such a long time, you can leave now. Uncle Lon says with an indifferent smile. Shan Chu does not know who the little golden pang Uncle Lon is talking about is. In his opinion, it should be some expert of the 3 big islands in the chaotic astral ocean. The people of the 3 big islands must not be easily offended. Fellow Xiaxionist, are you from the 3 big islands in the chaotic astral ocean? Shan Chu asks closely. Junior, I've already told you to leave yet you still insist on leaving. Looks like I'll have to personally drive you away. Uncle Lon sighs. Hearing Uncle Lon say so, the 4 loose immortals all concentrate their power. They are worried that at this moment Uncle Lon will get into action. Just based on the conversation and probing just now, the 4 loose immortals have already determined that this Uncle Lon is very powerful, at least much more powerful than them. Fellow Xiaxionist, could it be you want to use force? Shan Chu says, trying to appear fierce but inwardly timid. Use force? Why are some people always so self-righteous? Uncle Lon sighs, then immediately waves his sleeve. Immediately, the 4 loose immortals disappear into thin air from the main hall. At this moment Ye Zhong is overjoyed in his heart. Those 4 loose immortals are very formidable, but apparently Senior Lon is even more formidable. Senior Lon. When Ye Zhong is about to say something, Uncle Lon says with a frown, relying on the guard's energy to activate the formation is indeed a bit weak. It should be slightly improved. In the sky above the ocean, the 4 loose immortals appear out of thin air. Senior brother, what's going on? Shan Ming looks around in shock. In the blink of an eye, they have arrived on the island from the main hall of the Stellar Tower. Shan Chu's face darkens. Teleportation, and he teleported us out. Even though this place is not far from the Stellar Tower, we're after all 7th Tribulation and 8th Tribulation loose immortals. I guess only 12th Tribulation loose immortals have the ability to teleport us here with a wave of his hand. Shan Chu only says possibly. Obviously, he is not sure whether 12th Tribulation loose immortals have this kind of power. After all, he also feels a burst of fear after seeing such a simple move. Obviously, if Uncle Lon wants to kill them, he can do so with a wave of his hand. Let's go back. Looks like we underestimated Uncle Lon behind that Qin Yu. We'll tell Uncle Master Ming Liang about this matter first. If it doesn't work, we'll have to wait until the experts of the immortal world descend. Now Shan Chu feels that he is not sure what the immortal emperor said in the immortal world. The 4 loose immortals immediately fly back to the Golden Tree Island like rainbows. Times in the territory of the Ming dynasty, there is a white-robed young man with a faint smile on his face all the time. People who see his smile cannot help feeling a burst of warmth in their hearts and have a good impression of him from the bottom of their hearts. At the moment, this white-robed man is walking on the main street as if he is taking a stroll. Even though he seems to be taking a stroll, he has gone from the west of the city to the east in just 2 steps. In just a few steps, he has gone from the Ming dynasty's Fengyang City to Shuzhou City. It is even more formidable than ordinary, so near, yet poles apart. If Qin Yu were here, he would feel that the way this white-robed man walks is very similar to Li Er's. Even though his steps are light, his speed is simply shockingly fast. Chapter 223. Inside Guishui City of the Ming Dynasty. Guishui City was surrounded by mountains and rivers. To the west of the city was a beautiful mountain range. Between the mountain range and the city was a winding and beautiful Li River. At this moment, Qin Yu and Li Er were walking on a street of Guishui City. The two of them were very close to each other, laughing and talking about various buildings and scenic spots. Qin Yu saw someone selling candied haws in the distance. His heart moved, and he said to Li Er with a smile, "Li Er, do you want to try candied haws?" Li Er nodded happily. Qin Yu smiled and went to buy candied haws. At this moment, there were only 2 candied haws left. Qin Yu gave her a piece of silver and said, "Give me both candied haws. Keep the change." The eyes of the auntie selling candied haws suddenly brightened. Silver. Generally, cheap snacks like candied haws were bought with copper coins. Using silver to buy candied haws without having to give change, this auntie really made a small fortune this time. "Ah, young master, here you go." The auntie enthusiastically pulled out 2 candied haws. Qin Yu took the candied haws and turned to leave. However, at this moment, he suddenly felt resistance on his feet. Qin Yu turned his head to look. A boy of about 4 or 5 years old was hugging Qin Yu's calf. He pitifully looked at the candied haws in Qin Yu's hand, saliva flowing out of his mouth into a sparkling and translucent line. At this moment, how could Qin Yu not know what this little boy wanted to do? "Big brother, I want to eat candied haws. I have money. Can I exchange it with you?" The little boy's big watery eyes were filled with candied haws. His small hands were holding 2 copper plates. "Little Yu, don't make trouble." A young woman dressed in plain clothes hurriedly pulled the little boy and immediately apologized to Qin Yu. "Young master, the child is not sensible." "Young master, please don't be angry." The young woman had just given the child 2 copper coins to buy the candied haws. Naturally, she had seen Qin Yu casually take out a piece of silver to buy the candied haws. Furthermore, from the way he was dressed, the young woman was certain that the young master in front of her had a much higher status than the city lord. "Brother Qin Yu, what's wrong?" Li Er also walked over. Qin Yu turned back and smiled at Li Er. "It's nothing. It's just a child who wants to eat tonghulu. I wanted to share one with you." "Forget it. You eat one and give the other to the child." Qin Yu lowered his head and smiled at the cute little boy. He handed one of the candied haws to the little boy. "You are little Yu, right? Here." The little boy's eyes lit up. "Young master, there's no need. The child is greedy," the young woman hurriedly said. As she spoke, she pulled at the little boy who wanted to eat the candied haws. The little boy stopped moving after being pulled by his mother. He just pouted his mouth and stared at the candied haws with tears in his eyes. Qin Yu smiled. It's nothing. Little Yu, come here. The little boy looked back at his mother. Seeing that his mother didn't stop him, he excitedly took the candied haws and said, Thank you, big brother. Big brother, these 2 copper coins are for you. There's no need. The candied haws are for you. Qin Yu said with a smile. No. The little boy acted like an adult. My mother said that I can't take other people's things. That's not right. Big brother, take it. You can buy a lot of things with 2 copper coins. You can buy candies and meat buns. There's no need. To be honest, Qin Yu liked this little boy. No. The little boy was very stubborn. The young woman understood the temperament of a prince. How could he accept 2 copper coins? Little Yu, big brother said to give it to you. You can take the copper coins yourself. The young woman hurriedly said. The stubborn little boy heard his mother's words and couldn't help but open his big black eyes and look at his mother in confusion. After a moment, he nodded and took back the 2 copper coins. At this moment, the white-robed young man had already arrived at Guishui City. Surrounded by mountains and water, it's really a good scenery. The white-robed young man took a few steps and arrived at the street where Qin Yu and Li Er were. The other pedestrians didn't notice the sudden appearance of the white-robed young man at all, as if this man was supposed to be here. The white-robed young man saw Qin Yu and Li Er together. A thunderbolt flashed in his eyes, and then he smiled and said, Cousin. Li Er, who was playing with the little boy, was shocked when she heard this. She immediately turned her head and couldn't help but be shocked. Cousin. Qin Yu also turned his head. Cousin? Cousin? Qin Yu looked at the white-robed young man in front of him. This person in front of him was Li Er's cousin? He knew that Li Er was from a special clan. If this white-robed young man was really Li Er's cousin, he should also be from that clan. Cousin, you and Uncle Lon have been wandering around. How long have you not been back? Uncle is about to get angry. The white-robed young man looked at Li Er tenderly and said, Dad is angry? Li Er was surprised. This is Uncle's handwritten order. Take a look yourself. The white-robed young man waved his hand and a golden light shot towards Li Er. Li Er reached out and a golden scroll appeared in Li Er's hand. Li Er unfolded it and looked, and suddenly her face turned slightly pale. Cousin, do we have to go back immediately? Li Er found it hard to accept. The white-robed young man frowned and said, Cousin, Uncle's order is a handwritten one. It's not a simple message. You should know that Uncle is really angry. How can anyone go against Uncle's orders? Li Er stood uneasily, and her eyebrows were full of worry. I'll go find Uncle Lon. Li Er clenched her teeth and said. The white-robed young man frowned slightly, and then sighed and said, Okay, cousin, don't be stubborn. Uncle Lon doesn't really listen to Uncle's words, but do you want Uncle Lon and Uncle to confront each other over such a small matter? What's more, Uncle is not only powerful, but he is also the king of your clan. How can anyone go against the king's orders? Li Er, what's wrong? What happened? Qin Yu, who was listening to the two, also felt that things were not good. The white-robed young man frowned slightly and said, Li Er? Who are you? How can you call Li Er? Cousin, why are you with a mortal? Could it be that Uncle Lon told you to, huh? The white-robed young man's eyes flashed with anger. Qin Yu was shocked. If he didn't see wrong, there was a flash of lightning in the young man's eyes. Lightning in the eyes? How could it be? If Uncle knows that you are with a mortal, you know the consequences. Then don't blame me for not warning you. The white-robed young man glanced coldly at Qin Yu. What kind of gaze was that? It was like an emperor looking down at a beggar on the street. No, I just met him and felt that he was interesting. Li Er hurriedly said with a smile. Interesting? Suddenly, Qin Yu felt that his heart was completely cold. That's not right. Qin Yu is not an idiot. It is only because he is in the middle of the situation that he is affected. He immediately realizes that he and Li have known each other for such a long time, so how can it be called just now? Let me introduce you. This is my cousin Zhou Xian. My cousin is very powerful, at least more powerful than me. Li Er said to Qin Yu with a smile. Cousin, this is Qin Yu, a friend I met here. Even though his power is low, he's still a very good person. Li Er suddenly says angrily. Cousin, you'd better not bully him or else I'll be very angry. Okay, of course, I won't bully him. Zhou Xian says with an indifferent smile. His clear and cold eyes take an indifferent look at Qin Yu. Obviously, Zhou Xian looks down on Qin Yu's little bit of power. Cousin, don't waste time. Uncle is already very angry. The moment you opened the letter, he knew that you had read it. You should go back immediately. Otherwise, Uncle will be angry and put you in confinement. At that time, it would be useless for me to plead. Zhou Xian said with concern. Li Er bit her lips and walked toward Qin Yu. Qin Yu, I have to go back. Goodbye. It was just a few simple sentences. At this time, Li Er's voice sounded in Qin Yu's mind. Qin Yu big brother, don't be angry. I can't let others know about our relationship. If others know, you will definitely die. Li Er's tone was very anxious. Qin Yu is not a boor. As soon as he hears that, he knows that Li Er has her own difficulties. Big brother Qin Yu, my father is the king of the clan. I can't go against his orders. Moreover, if some people know that the person I like is you, not to mention my father, even other people might kill you. Qin Yu was startled. What was going on? He recalled what Uncle Lan said to him for the first time. At the beginning, he strictly ordered him not to like Li Er. If he did, he would die. Later, he was allowed to be with Li Er. Qin Yu never understood why Uncle Lan said that if he liked Li Er, he would die. At this moment, Qin Yu seemed to understand. But big brother Qin Yu, I promise that when I go back, I will think of a way to settle everything. No matter what, I will be with you as soon as possible. No one can stop us. But now there are many obstacles. I have to think of a way. You have to wait for me. Listen, don't use your spiritual sense to communicate with me. My cousin can easily detect your spiritual sense communication. Li Er said very anxiously. Qin Yu could only resist using his spiritual sense. If it wasn't for Uncle Lan using his divine ability, I reckon that the other clansmen would have already known about us. With Uncle Lan's help, there is hope for us to be together. I will work hard. You also have to work hard. The higher your power, the greater the possibility of us being together. Big brother Qin Yu, remember, I will never be with anyone else. Even if I can't change everything in the clan, I can still not marry. I will always wait for you. At this moment, Zhou Xian's voice sounded, Cousin, it's time to go back. Uncle is still waiting for you. Okay, I'll go now. Li Er turned her head and said with a smile. Then she waved her hand towards the sky. Suddenly, a black hole appeared in the sky, as if space had shattered. Li Er. Qin Yu suddenly felt a pain in his heart. He couldn't help but call out. Li Er's body flew up. She looked at Qin Yu. Qin Yu also looked at Li Er. Big brother Qin Yu, I'm going to leave. I've been very happy with you these days. My heart is free and happy. Before I leave, I want to say the words that I've always buried at the bottom of my heart, the words that I've never said before. I love you. Li Er's voice is very slow and soft, as if she is whispering in his ear. Qin Yu opened his mouth a few times, but he didn't say anything. He also wanted to say, I love you, to Li Er, but he couldn't. He knew that Zhou Xian could easily hear other people's spiritual sense transmissions. He didn't dare to use spiritual sense transmissions. He didn't dare to speak. Li Er was like an angel. Her body flashed with a faint cyan light, and she directly entered the black hole. After a while, the hole disappeared. Li Er seemed to have never appeared. Big brother, where is that big sister? The little boy eating the tonghulu asked Qin Yu in confusion. The mortals present didn't know what was going on. They didn't see the scene of Li Er flying away. Big sister, she went home. Qin Yu looked at the little boy and tried to squeeze out a smile. At this moment, Qin Yu's heart was in pain. But in the deepest part of his heart, there was absolute determination. Because he knew that Li Er loved him. Just knowing this was enough. Qin Yu, right? How did you and my cousin meet? Zhou Xian said with a faint smile. Just from Li Er flying away with a raise of her hand, Qin Yu knew that this mysterious clan was too powerful. They could even easily detect spiritual sense transmissions. We just met by chance. Li Er's temper is very good. Right, brother Zhou Xian, what clan are you talking about? Qin Yu had a puzzled look. At this moment, Qin Yu was howling in anger. Li Er left just like that. How could he not feel pain, anger, and sadness? But he had to endure. And he had to pretend to be in his current appearance. Who could understand the pain in his heart and the anger in his heart? Li Er, Zhou Xian? Zhou Xian's face showed a hint of mockery. Kid, you are a mortal. Li Er is not someone you can call. Similarly, my name, Zhou Xian, is not something you can call. Qin Yu's heart jumped. I don't know why my cousin was willing to chat with you. But, with my cousin's status, she was with you. You should be proud of these few days. But, from today onwards, you are not allowed to say, Li Er. You are also not allowed to call my name. Do you understand? Zhou Xian said with a smile. Qin Yu felt anger in his heart. You are angry. Alas, mortals are mortals. That's right. No matter how much you talk to an ant, it will not be able to understand the human world. You are also unable to understand my meaning. Zhou Xian's gaze was still cold, and his tone was still gentle. Li Er, to be honest, calling my cousin by her name makes me a little jealous. Especially when a mortal calls my cousin by her name, it makes me even more jealous. However, I should not bicker with you. But, with your intelligence, you are still unable to understand my existence. Very well, consider it a gift from me to a mortal like you. I will let you feel the tip of the iceberg of my power. At this moment, a thunderbolt flashed in Zhou Xian's eyes again. Qin Yu's heart jumped. This Zhou Xian had a killing intent. Chapter 224. Feel the tip of the iceberg of his power? Qin Yu is not an idiot. The world he lives in, whether it is the Qianlong continent or the underwater world of Zuyoists, is a cruel world where people fight against each other. He naturally understands that this smiling young man in a white robe in front of him will very likely take this opportunity to kill him. Oh, you seem to be afraid? Zhou Xian says smilingly. What does this Zhou Xian actually want to do? At the moment, Qin Yu is extremely nervous. When Li Er flew away and when Li Er said so many things to him, Qin Yu's heart was filled with determination. This is because Qin Yu has the most firm belief at the bottom of his heart. Therefore, Qin Yu does not want to die now. He also cannot die. Nobody can deprive him of the opportunity to be together with Li Er. Nobody. Afraid? No, I'm just very curious. Just now, didn't you say that I'm basically unable to understand your existence? To you, I'm like an ant to a human. Why do you still want me to understand your power? Could it be that you're trying in vain to make an ant understand a human's power? Qin Yu asks with a slightly puzzled expression. Ha ha. Zhou Xian chuckles a few times. That's right. It's very difficult for you to understand my existence and my power. Therefore I said, I'll show you the tip of the iceberg of my power. Yes, the tip of the iceberg, just a little bit. It's not even 1/10, 000 tich, not even 1/10, 000 tich. Don't worry, I won't kill you because my cousin told me that I can't kill you, her good friend, right? Zhou Xian looks around. Suddenly, his eyes fix on the white trees on both sides of the street which are beautifying the street. Zhou Xian's feet move. In a short while, He is already 100 m away. He gently breaks a branch. Qin Yu is puzzled. He looks at Zhou Xian, wondering what he actually wants to do. He does not run away because he knows that if Zhou Xian wants to kill him, he simply cannot escape. Haha, I'll use this branch as a weapon. Zhou Xian gently rubs that small branch with his hand. Those branches and leaves immediately fall down, leaving only a 1 m long and 1 centimeter wide branch in his hand. Qin Yu's nerves instantly tightened. The strangest thing was that the other people on the street did not seem to feel Zhou Xian's terrifying speed of 100 meters in a single step. Everyone acted as usual. Those who bought things continued to buy things, and those who sold things continued to shout enthusiastically. Tree branch? Qin Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. Qin Yu, don't worry. I won't be too heavy-handed. I will do my best to compress my strength and do my best to weaken my attack power. After all, this space is too fragile. How about this? Take one of my energy blades. Zhou Xian smiled as he flicked the tree branch. The tree branch was elastic. With a gentle flick of his right hand, the branch bent down. When the branch bounced back, a green ripple appeared. The green ripple was as long as the width of the street. Its flying speed was not fast, comparable to the speed of the wind. Of course, the so-called not fast was only in Qin Yu's eyes. In the eyes of mortals, the speed of the ripple was still very fast. Wherever the green ripples passed, the white trees were directly cut in half and immediately collapsed. The vendors' stalls were also cut in half. In any case, they were less than a meter above the ground. Everything was cut in half. Naturally, this included people. The tree branch that Zhou Xian broke was 100 meters away from Qin Yu. Within this 100 meters, there were hundreds of mortals. Even the children of these mortals were more than a meter tall. Each and every one of them was cut in half. Their bodies were cut in half, and blood spurted out. The stomachs of the mortals were cut open, and their internal organs and large intestines flowed out. The mortals did not even have time to react. After all, the speed of the green ripple was comparable to the speed of the wind. Qin Yu's reaction was naturally much faster. He clearly saw this scene. Stop! Qin Yu only had time to shout. At the same time, the energy in the core of the planet in his dantian, the solar core, was completely drawn out. The blazing energy instantly formed a barrier. This green ripple was shaped like a scimitar. It was as though the green ripple was a single entity. Although Qin Yu's barrier was only able to cover half the width of the street, the green ripple was blocked by the green ripple. However, the part of the green ripples that was blocked stopped. Similarly, the part that was not blocked also stopped flying. The green ripple was a single entity. Not bad. Among mortals, you are considered quite good. Zhou Xian's eyes lit up. He smiled and said, not bad. Unfortunately, you are still too weak. Pooh. Oh. Only now do the large group of people behind Qin Yu come to their senses. Looking at the several hundred corpses that have been cut in half, as well as the blood and internal organs that have flowed out, almost all of them turn blue and vomit. Demon! Demon! Immediately, someone shouted in fear. A scholar was so frightened that he fell to the ground. He stared at the smiling Zhou Xian and pointed at Zhou Xian with a trembling finger. You killed people. You massacred. Demon, the heavens will punish you. Miserable screams and the fear of death caused most of the people present to scream. Thank you, young master, for saving my life. The mother of the Tonghulu eating boy said gratefully to Qin Yu. At this moment, everyone present could see that Qin Yu was resisting the green ripple. All of you, quickly leave. Qin Yu felt that the energy within the solar core was crazily rushing out as though it was leaking water. The attack power of the green ripple was too strong. His energy was being consumed too quickly. No, big brother, I won't leave. I want to beat up bad people. The Tonghulu eating boy stared at Zhou Xian with his eyes wide open. At this moment, a figure shot over from afar. Sword Qi, what a powerful sword Qi. It should be a Xiantian de Shang expert. A grim old man rushed over from the street behind Qin Yu. His speed was extremely fast. At this moment, his face was also filled with anger. Young man, you have reached the Xiantian de Shang stage at such a young age. You are indeed a genius, but your method is a bit too cruel. Although I have only reached the late stage of the Xiantian de Shang stage after training for 100 years, I still want to fight you. The grim old man shouted angrily. Zhou Xian was startled. Xiantian de Shang? You are talking about me? Young man, you can't wantonly kill people by relying on force. Didn't your master teach you that you must first learn martial virtues? The old man shouted angrily. A moment later, a few more gusts of wind blew and several Xiantian experts rushed over. Ridiculous. Zhou Xian looked at the several Xiantian experts and smiled indifferently. Then, he turned his gaze to Qin Yu and a surprised expression appeared on his face. Your physical body's cultivation has actually surpassed your martial power. Your martial power has been exhausted, but your body can still withstand it. The attack that Qin Yu used just now could definitely kill a Deshang stage expert. Even though Qin Yu had activated the energy of the solar core, he could not withstand it for a while. Who would have thought that Qin Yu's physical body would be able to withstand it? When he was training in Lei Mountain House, almost 90% of the mysterious green light spots in Lu Xing's tears had fused with Qin Yu's body. Qin Yu's body had been transformed to a terrifying degree. You guys, quickly leave. Qin Yu's face was flushed red. He turned his head and said to the onlookers with difficulty. Although they had seen so many people being killed, many bold people still stood there and watched. They did not believe that a young man like Zhou Xian would dare to kill everyone on the street. Young man, don't worry. Even if he is a Xiantian de Shang stage expert, what do we have to fear? If we, the three saints of Gui Shui, join forces, it will not be difficult to defeat him. The grim old man said. There were two other old men beside him. Qin Yu was about to go crazy. Xiantian de Shang stage? Sword Qi? Was that Sword Qi? Even the energy of the solar core that Qin Yu had activated was easily broken. If it were not for Qin Yu's powerful physical body, he would not have been able to withstand it. Not to mention Xiantian de Shang stage, even Xiantian de Shang stage cultivators would probably die when facing this expert. Big brother, don't be afraid. We have many people. We will definitely beat the bad guys away. At this moment, the little boy eating the tonghulu still had not left. His mother was also fiercely staring at Zhou Xian. Quickly leave. Qin Yu felt that his body was about to be unable to withstand it. In fact, even with Qin Yu's physical body, which was comparable to a Deshang stage expert, it was impossible for him to withstand it for so long. The real reason was his recovery ability. For some unknown reason, Qin Yu's recovery ability was more than 100 times stronger than before. Even the energy of the solar core in his body was rapidly recovering. It was this recovery ability that allowed him to withstand it for so long. Finally, the offensive power contained in the cyan ripple was exhausted. With a pang sound, the cyan ripple turned into nothingness. However, the final explosion of the cyan ripple caused Qin Yu's entire body to be blown away. Pooh! Qin Yu spat out a large mouthful of blood on the ground. At this moment, all the bones and muscles in his body were extremely sore, as if they had fallen apart. Your body is very good. It is much stronger than divine beasts of the same stage. Zhou Xian praised. Qin Yu's body was indeed very strong. Not only was it tough, but its recovery ability was also very strong. This was not only because of Lu Xing's tears. The most important reason was the green dots of light that had fused into his body from Lu Xing's tears. These green dots of light could no longer be absorbed by Qin Yu's body and could only be stored in the depths of his muscles, bones, and cells. When Qin Yu's body was injured, these green dots of light would take effect, allowing Qin Yu's body to quickly recover. Not only his body, but even his martial power would also rapidly recover. It was unbelievable. The green dots of light not only restored the body, but also the martial power of the solar core. It was really a strange thing. Big brother. The little boy eating the tonghulu suddenly hugged Qin Yu. He looked at Qin Yu with his big eyes, seemingly very worried. Tears were rolling in his eyes. I'm fine. Little Yu, quickly leave with your mother. Quickly. Qin Yu was anxious. At this moment, the Xiantian experts were standing in front of Qin Yu, glaring angrily at Zhou Xian. Young man, since you are so vicious and merciless, we, the three saints of Guishui, cannot sit by and do nothing. Second brother, third brother, let's join hands and kill this cruel brat. The grim elder immediately said, Yes, big brother. The other two elders immediately responded, Three seniors, we will also lend senior a hand. The other three Xiantian experts also spoke out. The grim elder nodded and said, Then I'll have to trouble you. Just as these experts were about to take action, Zhou Xian seemed to be somewhat impatient. So noisy. Zhou Xian's expression turned cold. He stared at the Xiantian experts and a bolt of lightning flashed in his eyes. Like a balloon exploding, the Xiantian experts exploded with a bang. Flesh and blood flew, and shattered bones covered the ground. With just a glance, several people died. Zhou Xian, don't attack ordinary people. They are not worthy of your attack. You should also not lower yourself to kill them. Qin Yu's body had almost completely recovered in a short while. What a terrifying recovery ability! Zhou Xian exclaimed. But Zhou Xian shook his head again and said, Alas, you are really too insatiable. Who do I want to kill? Why do you care? Can you care? Perhaps you think that because I didn't kill you with one move just now, my strength is only that little? Zhou Xian suddenly raised his index finger towards the sky. Suddenly, Zhou Xian smiled brilliantly at Qin Yu. Truly feel my strength. Nirvana. Just as he finished speaking, Zhou Xian's index finger towards the sky lit up with a bit of brilliance. That brilliance was so dazzling. It even surpassed the sun. In an instant, the brilliance spread and covered everything. At the same moment, noiselessly, like a mirror shattering, the entire space where Guishui City was located shattered. The walls, the peddlers, the trees, the frightened mortals, the air, the birds, the sunlight. At this moment, everything in the space the size of Guishui City was completely shattered. Qin Yu stared at the little boy who was eating the tonghulu. That little boy was in the arms of the young woman. His pure big eyes were still staring at Qin Yu. His mouth opened twice, as if he was shouting, Big brother! Pang! Pieces of fragments. The surrounding space turned into fragments. Even the little boy was in one of the fragments. And at this moment, all the fragments were drawn into the turbulent flow of the spatial crack. No! Qin Yu stared at the little boy and roared in his heart, not daring to do so. At this moment, Qin Yu and Zhou Xian were in the turbulent flow of the spatial crack. The spatial crack was completely dark. Only some of the turbulent flow of energy had a faint color. In the dark space, Zhou Xian stood in the air. The turbulent flow of space did not harm him in the slightest. And Qin Yu was also in front of Zhou Xian. Don't worry. Since I promised my cousin that I would not kill you, I will definitely not kill you. In the turbulent flow of space, I will protect you. You will not die. Otherwise, if my cousin knew that you died and blamed it on me, I would be in trouble. Zhou Xian said with a smile. Qin Yu's expression was extremely cold. In his mind, there was still the scene of the little boy staring at Qin Yu before he died. Zhou Xian, you have killed so many people. The entire Guishui city has been massacred by you. Even the heavens will settle this blood debt with you. Qin Yu's heart was filled with resentment. When he thought of the tonghulu-eating boy's big eyes staring at him before he died, he had an impulse to kill Zhou Xian. Heavens? Zhou Xian laughed. His eyes were filled with ridicule. Qin Yu, the heavens have their own heavenly Tao. You are just a mortal. How can you know what the heavenly Tao is? Killing people. Even if I kill everyone on this continent, the heavens will not punish me at all. Ha ha. Chinyu, you have to remember that I understand the heavens better than you. Chapter 225. The shattered space was recovering at an extremely fast speed. In just a short while, the spatial crack that was the size of Guishui City had been completely restored. Qin Yu stood in the air. In front of him was Zhou Xian, who was standing in the air. I understand the heavens better than you. Those words caused Qin Yu's entire body to tremble. Could it be that the heavens did not punish him at all for such a massacre that could destroy a city? Was it really like this? Zhou Xian always had a card up his sleeve as he looked at Qin Yu with a smile. However, Qin Yu felt that Zhou Xian's smile was very repulsive. Especially when he thought of that kind mother of his, that pure-blooded boy with big eyes who drooled over Tonghulu. Qin Yu loathed Zhou Xian even more. With a wave of my hand, the heavens collapse and the earth rends. Do you know my strength? Zhou Xian asked with a smile. Enough. A faint but deep voice that contained a trace of anger reverberated between heaven and earth. Zhou Xian, who was still smiling a moment ago, changed his expression. In an instant, Zhou Xian's expression and attitude became very friendly. Greetings, Uncle Lon. Uncle Lon has left the clan for such a long time. My father misses you very much. Before I came here, my father asked me to send my father's regards to Uncle Lon. Zhou Xian appeared modest and courteous. Uncle Lon appeared in the air just like that. He glanced at the place where Guishui City used to be. At this moment, the old site of Guishui City was a body of water. Not even a single brick could be seen. The originally flourishing city had disappeared just like that. The Li River that ran through Guishui City had filled up the old site of Guishui City. Uncle Lon was not angry that Guishui City was destroyed. Zhou Xian, you should be able to go back. Uncle Lon said indifferently. Zhou Xian bowed and said, Uncle, I have finished the matter that you asked me to do. I should indeed go back. Cousin will be very bored when she goes back. I want to accompany her. Uncle Lon, I will take my leave. And Uncle Lon nodded. Zhou Xian bowed and then directly soared into the sky. A black hole naturally appeared in the sky. Zhou Xian passed through the black hole and disappeared. Little Yu. Uncle Lon walked in front of Qin Yu. Qin Yu raised his head and looked at Uncle Lon. Uncle Lon, isn't wantonly killing innocent people a sin? Zhou Xian casually killed everyone in the city, yet the heavens didn't punish him at all? Uncle Lon rubbed Qin Yu's head and said earnestly, Xiao Yu, heaven, is not something that you and I can guess. It is also not something that Zhou Xian can recklessly talk about. But, at least from what I can see now, killing is indeed not a sin. Uncle Lon looked up at the sky. At this moment, Qin Yu felt that Uncle Lon was like heaven and earth. What is heaven? I have thought about it for countless years, but I am still unable to understand. But the seniors of the clan have determined through countless years of experience that heaven is the most heartless. It will not care about you. No matter how you kill, be kind, save millions of people, or kill millions of people, heaven will not care. I estimate that all of this is insignificant in the eyes of heaven. Uncle Lon appeared somewhat melancholy. Natural selection. You kill me, I kill you. Join forces with everyone to kill one person. Or one person to kill countless people. No matter what, heaven will not care about such trivial matters. Uncle Lon was incomparably certain. At this moment, Uncle Lan's eyes had a trace of brutality. If heaven cared, would so many things have happened? Would I have fallen to my current state? Heaven is the most heartless. Or it could be said that heaven has no feelings at all. Uncle Lan's face was cold. Uncle Lon suddenly laughed self-deprecatingly. Perhaps heaven might have feelings, but no matter who it is, no matter how high their status is, no matter how powerful they are, heaven will not care. It is just like how people do not care if an ant dies. Heaven has feelings, but it is disinclined to use them on people. Uncle Lon looked at Qin Yu. Little Yu, do you still remember the first time I met you? I once told you to not fall in love with Li Er. Otherwise you will die. Do you still remember? I remember. Qin Yu nodded. Uncle Lon sighed and said, At that time, I also thought so. But later on, I thought, some things cannot be forcibly obstructed. It is better to stick to one's heart. So I helped you and used my divine ability. No one in the clan knows about the matter between you and Li Er. Qin Yu understood in his heart. He knew that the clan that Uncle Lon, Li Er, and Zhou Xian belonged to possessed some divine abilities. And Uncle Lan's strength should be very strong. He should be able to prevent others from discovering the matter between him and Li Er. But you can hide it for a while, but you can't hide it forever. Since you have fallen in love with Li Er, you must face everything. Of course, if you choose to give up, you can live a peaceful life and be free. Uncle Lon said with a smile. Uncle Lon. Qin Yu gently shook his head. Live a peaceful life? If you want to live like a walking corpse, you might as well just die. Li Er will wait for me. How can I be afraid of difficulties? Uncle Lon, do you know? When I was young, my goal was to help my father and receive his praise. When I was trapped in the Hotian realm and was unable to break through, I once thought, if I could reach the Xiantian realm with my external cultivation, I would be willing to die if I could help my father. Qin Yu seemed to recall the past. At that time, the most important person in Qin Yu's heart was his father. And now, in addition to his father, there was also Li Er. I fulfilled my wish. I even killed Xiang Yang, allowing my Qin clan to unify the Chu dynasty and establish the Qin dynasty. Qin Yu was high-spirited. It can be said that my life is enough. Some people live their entire lives in ignorance, but I have enough glory. Even if I die, I don't care. At this moment, what can stop me? Uncle Lan's eyes had a trace of gratification. My father once said something that I will always remember: do what you think is right. The men of my Qin clan should not be afraid of the slightest thing or fear death. I will not be afraid, and there is nothing worth being afraid of. Zhou Xian is powerful, but only for now. I will cultivate, I will improve, and one day, I will be with Li Er openly. No one will be able to stop me. Clap, clap. Uncle Lon clapped his hands in gratification. Very good, Xiao Yu. It seems that I don't need to say more. I am very happy that you can think this way. Looking at you, I seem to see myself in the past. It's just that, you are weaker than me, but your beliefs are firmer than mine. This is where you are stronger than me. Uncle Lon looked at Qin Yu, his eyes full of appreciation and praise. Stay true to your heart. You just have to remember that you won't regret what you've done in the future. That is enough. Uncle Lon patted Qin Yu's shoulder encouragingly. At this moment, Qin Yu was most curious about what clan Li Er was from. What realm did he need to cultivate to be with Li Er? All of this was what Qin Yu urgently wanted to know. Uncle Lon, can you tell me why I will die if your clansmen know that I am with Li Er? Qin Yu asked. Uncle Lon smiled. Xiao Yu, you should know Zhou Xian's strength. Not to mention Zhou Xian, even at your level, you don't care about your appearance. Because your appearance can change. Qin Yu nodded in agreement. Uncle Lon continued, Li Er is a woman that our clan, and even the youths of other clans, admire. Not only Li Er's status, but also Li Er's temperament. Most importantly, Li Er has a secret. This is also the reason why many youths in our clan pursue Li Er. Qin Yu understood. He had too many competitors. So, once your rivals in love find out about you and Li Er, there is no need for Li Er's father to make a move. Those rivals in love can kill you countless times. Uncle Lon mocked. Qin Yu smiled bitterly. Having too many rivals in love was not a good thing. Are all of them about the same as Zhou Xian? Qin Yu asked. Uncle Lon smiled and said, although there is a difference in strength between those rivals in love, if they want to kill you, any one of them can easily kill you. They can even kill you with a single finger. Qin Yu finally understood the gap between them. It was not just an ordinary gap. Are you still confident? Uncle Lon smiled and looked at Qin Yu. Qin Yu did not speak, but the look in his eyes said it all. Uncle Lan's expression turned serious and said, Li Er has returned to her clan. It will be difficult for her to come out this time. I also have to go back to help her. Otherwise, with her father's temper, if Li Er resists, she might end up killing herself. I can't guarantee much. I can only guarantee that Li Er will not marry. She will wait for you. Thank you, Qin Yu said gratefully. Qin Yu had heard the words of Li Er and Li Er. Clearly, Uncle Lon had the strength to contend with Li Er's father. With Uncle Lon around, Li Er would have an easier time. Don't worry. Our clan has an unlimited lifespan. 1 billion years is but a snap of the fingers. However, you cannot relax, Uncle Lon said as he patted Qin Yu's shoulder. Don't worry, Uncle Lon. Qin Yu's heart was filled with confidence. Uncle Lon, what realm do I have to cultivate to before I can go to your clan to find Li Er? Golden Immortal? Profound Immortal? Qin Yu asked. Uncle Lon was startled. Soon after, he comforted, Don't worry. What realm do you have to cultivate to before you can find Li Er? You will know when you reach Ni Yang's realm. Ni Yang's realm. Qin Yu was shocked. This Uncle Lon was a bit too terrifying. He seemed to have only told Li Er about Ni Yang's realm. He had never told Uncle Lon about it. How did Uncle Lon know about it? Ni Yang's realm is also a test for you. If you can't even pass through Ni Yang's realm and obtain that treasure, you should just admit defeat, Uncle Lon said with a smile. Qin Yu's eyes lit up. Of course I won't give up. I will try that Ni Yang's realm. The deepest part of Ni Yang's realm. When you reach there, you will know what realm you have to reach to find Li Er. Cultivate diligently. With your current strength, the possibility of success is too low. Uncle Lon sighed. Qin Yu nodded. Of course he knew. Immortal Emperor Ni Yang had left a message for him. If one's strength was lower than that of a Dashang stage immortal cultivator, they would definitely die. This showed that the strength of a Dashang stage immortal cultivator was only the lowest threshold. One could imagine the dangers within. Little Yu, I have to go. Li Er just returned. With her father's temperament, Li Er's days after returning will not be easy. Before I go, let me give you a present. Uncle Lon waved his sleeve. A ray of light flashed, and a callous black-robed man appeared in front of everyone. That aura made even Qin Yu feel apprehensive. Uncle Lon, this is... which senior? Qin Yu looked at the black-robed man in confusion. Uncle Lon laughed. Senior? No, he is not a living person. This is a sword immortal puppet that I refined using some materials. Sword immortal puppet. Qin Yu was shocked. Uncle Lon nodded. Yes, it is the same as an immortal artifact. You can also drip blood on it to recognize it as its master. Take this sword immortal puppet. This sword immortal puppet's maximum attack power can reach that of a level 9 golden immortal. Level 9 golden immortal. Qin Yu was shocked. If he had this sword immortal puppet, wouldn't he be able to do whatever he wanted? Little Yu, although this sword immortal puppet's maximum attack power can reach that of a level 9 golden immortal, but it also requires an astonishing amount of energy. Uncle Lon looked at Qin Yu with a smile that wasn't a smile. Energy. I have the Qingyu immortal mana. There are quite a few elemental holy stones inside. Qin Yu was extremely excited. Do you think it's that easy? Drip blood on it to recognize it as its master, then you will know. Uncle Lon didn't expose him. Qin Yu immediately flew forward and dripped blood on it to recognize it as its master. A drop of blood landed on the sword immortal puppet, and was absorbed like mercury. With a thought, Qin Yu absorbed the sword immortal puppet into Qin Yu's body. Its usage was similar to that of an immortal artifact. But the instant it entered his body, Qin Yu completely understood how to use it. At this moment, Qin Yu's face was filled with a bitter smile. The sword Immortal Puppet had a 9x9 origin spirit array within it, which provided energy for the sword Immortal Puppet's attacks. But the 9x9 origin spirit array required elemental holy stones and supreme-grade elemental holy stones. Although Qin Yu had the Qingyu Immortal Manner, he didn't have a single piece of supreme-grade elemental holy stone. Little Yu. Uncle Lon laughed. The 9x9 origin spirit array of this sword Immortal Puppet has 9 positions. When you place a single piece of supreme-grade elemental holy stone, it will only have the power of a level 1 golden immortal. When you place 2 pieces of supreme-grade elemental holy stones, it will only have the power of a level 2 golden immortal. When you place 9 pieces of supreme-grade elemental holy stones, it will have the power of a level 9 golden immortal. Qin Yu understood. Although the power of a level 9 golden immortal was hundreds of times greater than that of a level 1 golden immortal, 9 pieces of supreme-grade elemental holy stones only had 9 times the power of a single piece of supreme-grade elemental holy stone. The reason why supreme-grade elemental holy stones of the 9th level was because a single piece of supreme-grade elemental holy stone only had the power of a level 1 golden immortal. That was because of the 9x9 origin spirit array. After all, only 9 pieces of supreme-grade elemental holy stones could form an array. Because of the array, 9 pieces of supreme-grade elemental holy stones could maximize the attack power. Uncle Lon, the Qingyu Immortal Manor is completely made of a huge piece of elemental holy stone. Although there are some elemental holy stones in the rockery, warehouse and other places, most of them are low and middle grade. Even high-grade ones are very rare. I don't have a single piece of supreme-grade elemental holy stone, Qin Yu said helplessly. Supreme-grade elemental holy stones were very precious. Even in the immortal realm and the demon realm, they were very rare. Ordinary golden immortal experts were not willing to use them casually. Yes, the Qingyu Immortal Manor is made of a very good piece of elemental holy stone. If you completely break the huge piece of elemental holy stone in the Qingyu Immortal Manor, you can extract 23 pieces of supreme-grade elemental holy stones. Uncle Lon laughed. Qin Yu smiled bitterly. How could he be willing to completely break an immortal manor? The Qingyu Immortal Manor was precious not only because of the complete piece of elemental holy stone, but also because of the defensive array left by Immortal Emperor Ni. Such a safe immortal manor was too valuable. There is another way. The elemental holy essence is more precious than supreme-grade elemental holy stones. 1 elemental holy essence is equivalent to 100 supreme-grade elemental holy stones. Don't you have it? Uncle Lon laughed. Uncle Lon, the elemental holy essence is the core of the Qingyu Immortal Manor. Once I use it, how can I control the Qingyu Immortal Manor? Qin Yu felt very helpless. Moreover, the elemental holy essence needs to be exchanged for 100 supreme-grade elemental holy stones. Who will exchange with me? In the mortal realm, who can take out 100 supreme-grade elemental holy stones? Not to mention 100, even 1. Probably no one in the mortal realm can take it out. Moreover, after using it, even the thing to control the Qingyu Immortal Manor would be gone. Haha. I'm just joking with you. Uncle Lon laughed. Of course I know you don't have supreme-grade elemental holy stones. I have one here, just one. This one is enough to make the sword Immortal Puppet have the strength of a level 1 golden immortal. Of course, after using this one, the energy will be gone. After saying that, Uncle Lon handed Qin Yu a supreme-grade elemental holy stone. Qin Yu immediately took the supreme-grade elemental holy stone. Although it's only one, it's better than nothing. Uncle Lon, how long can this one be used for? Qin Yu asked. Uncle Lon laughed and said, This sword Immortal Puppet contains a set of sword art called the Heaven Sundering Sword Art. The Heaven Sundering Sword Art has a total of 9 moves. Each move requires a different amount of energy. If you use the 9th move, I estimate that it will consume about 80% of the energy of the supreme-grade elemental holy stone. Qin Yu understood. One supreme-grade elemental holy stone is probably only enough for one battle. After the battle, without supreme-grade elemental holy stone, he can't use the sword immortal puppet even if he has it. Little you. Uncle Lan's expression turned solemn. I gave you the sword immortal puppet because I hope that you can go further in the future. I only gave you one supreme-grade elemental holy stone because I hope that you don't completely rely on external forces. You have to rely on yourself for everything. The sword immortal puppet can only be used when you have no other choice but to save your life. I do have a lot of supreme-grade elemental holy stones, but I can't give them to you. Giving them to you would be harming you. If I give them to you now, it will allow you to run amok among golden immortals. But in the future, what will you use to compete with Zhou Xian and the others? Facing Uncle Lan's hopeful gaze, Qin Yu completely understood Uncle Lan's painstaking efforts. Uncle Lon, I won't let you down, Qin Yu said slowly. Uncle Lon smiled in relief. All right, I have to go. If I don't go back, Li Er will suffer. A black doorframe appeared behind Uncle Lon, leading to the void. Uncle Lon stepped into the black doorframe. At the moment he walked in, Uncle Lon turned his head to look at Qin Yu. Little you, don't let down Li Er's hopes. Don't let down my hopes for you. Okay. Qin Yu nodded heavily. Uncle Lon entered the black doorframe in relief. Following that, the black passageway disappeared. Uncle Lon also disappeared from this world as though he had never appeared. Chapter 226. In the capital of the Qin dynasty, in the training room of Lei Mountain House in Prince Yu's mansion, Qin Yu was sitting cross-legged in the room. Li Er's sad departure, Zhou Xian's powerful appearance, and everything that Uncle Lon said before he left. After experiencing all of this, Qin Yu's heart was empty. There was no burden. What he needed to do now was to cultivate quietly and improve his power as soon as possible. Since he wanted to improve his power, he had to figure out his body first. When that Zhou Xian used that cyan ripple to attack me, my body actually lasted longer than the energy of the sun's core. It was as if every part of my body automatically had a comfortable stream of energy that healed my body's injuries. Qin Yu was still puzzled about that scene. After the transformation of Lu Xing's tear, Qin Yu's body was indeed comparable to that of a Dashang stage expert. But even so, Qin Yu's body shouldn't have lasted for long under the cyan ripples. However, Qin Yu persisted and succeeded in the end. All of this was because of his recovery ability. Moreover, the power consumed by the sun's core was completely recovered in a short while. Not only could his body's injuries be healed, even his power was recovered. It was really too miraculous. Lu Xing's tear itself had the ability to recover. Qin Yu had known about this for a long time. However, the recovery of his body and power did not come from Lu Xing's tear itself. It came from every corner of his body. The moment he was injured, it was as if every part of his body produced a clear flow to heal his injuries at an extremely fast speed. Qin Yu carefully observed every part of his body. He observed his muscles, tendons, and bones in more detail. The more he observed with his mind, the more detailed his observation became. As his observation became more and more detailed, the secret of the rapid recovery of his body and power was gradually revealed in front of Qin Yu. What is this? Qin Yu was shocked. Qin Yu's mind clearly discovered that in the microscopic world of his muscles, tendons, and bones, every part of his body, and even every muscle cell, had some green brilliance. This green brilliance had completely fused with the deepest part of his body. Not only his tendons, bones, and muscles, but even the surface of the planet in his dantian also contained a mysterious green brilliance. This green brilliance was completely different from the green on the planet's surface. Qin Yu's mind moved, and a green ball of light in a certain part of his body actually flew out of Qin Yu's palm like energy according to Qin Yu's mind. What exactly is this green mass of light? Qin Yu looked at the green brilliance in his palm and mumbled in a low voice. Ha! While Qin Yu is feeling doubtful, he suddenly discovers that a green light has unexpectedly floated out of the meteoric tear on his chest. That green light flies directly to the place where Qin Yu collected the green light and replenishes the green energy there. It's Lu Xing's tear. Qin Yu's eyes lit up. As I expected, this mysterious green energy has something to do with Lu Xing's tear. Ever since I absorbed Lu Xing's tear into my body, this Lu Xing's tear has always been out of my control. But now, at least I can control this green energy. Qin Yu's mind moved, and the writing brush that he had absorbed into his body with his blood flew out. But at this moment, the writing brush was in the shape of a short sword. It was a middle-grade immortal artifact left behind by immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Although it was a writing brush, in terms of attack power, it was stronger than ordinary middle-grade immortal swords. Qin Yu took this middle-grade immortal artifact short sword and directly slashed his arm. Even with the middle-grade immortal artifact, Qin Yu had to expend quite a bit of effort to create a large wound. Blood flowed out continuously, but this bit of pain only caused Qin Yu to frown slightly. Now, let's see if this green ball of light is the reason for my recovery ability. Qin Yu immediately controlled the green ball of light within his body to not heal. Qin Yu carefully observed the wound. Haha, as expected. Qin Yu's face revealed a hint of joy. This green energy is the reason for that astonishing recovery ability. Without the recovery ability of the green ball of light, Qin Yu's wound would not heal at all. After that, Qin Yu stopped suppressing the green ball of light. The green energy immediately fused with Qin Yu's wound. In the blink of an eye, the large wound was completely healed. Not even a scar could be seen. Phew, what astonishing recovery ability! Qin Yu exclaimed inwardly. Even though he already knew that the healing ability of the green energy was astonishing, Qin Yu was still shocked when he saw it with his own eyes. Lu Xing's tear. Even now, I am still unable to control it. This green energy should be the first type of energy that I can control. Since its healing ability is so astonishing, let's call it Elemental Life Force. It was as Qin Yu had expected. After testing it, not only could this elemental life force rapidly heal injuries, it could also restore the body's power. This elemental life force could be said to surpass any spiritual pills that could restore power. At this moment, Qin De, Fenjiuzi, Su Yuan, Qin Feng and Qin Zhang are all gathered in a small courtyard in Prince Yu's mansion. Because of the heavy snowfall yesterday, the roof and trees of this courtyard are covered with endless snowflakes. The whole world is snow-white. Furthermore, there were traces of cold air in the air. Father, Uncle Feng, Uncle Su, Big Brother, Second Brother, there's something I have to tell you. Qin Yu had a faint calm smile on his face, but his tone seemed to be somewhat solemn. Qin Yu had gathered so many people all of a sudden, so there must be something important. Qin De and the others were able to guess it right away. If there's anything you want to say, just say it. Qin De said smilingly. Your father has lived for so many years. What haven't I seen? I've also seen life and death many times. Don't worry too much about us. He wanted to let Qin Yu relax a bit. Father, the matter isn't so bad. To be exact, last time I went to the Immortal Mansion, I obtained a treasure, a very precious treasure. Was it coveted by other people? Su Yuan said slowly. Yes, I obtained an ink-wash painting. This painting is related to an extremely important secret. It can make all loose immortals, loose demons, and even 12th Tribulation loose immortals covet it. Qin Yu said with a forced smile. Now Qin Yu even feels that the ink-wash painting is a kind of burden. If Dame Yen Ji and Yen Mo both kept it a secret, of course he wouldn't be in any danger. But, when he talked with Yen Mo a few days ago, Yen Mo told him very straightforwardly that the ink-wash painting was given to the Dragon Clan. So things are really bad. 12th Tribulation loose immortals and loose demons? Fenjiuzi is astonished. Now he has reached the Yuanying stage, but 12th Tribulation loose immortals and loose demons are legendary existences that can't be reached. Qin Yu nodded helplessly. Yes, things are indeed a bit troublesome. Su Yuan also frowned. When the opponent's power is far greater than his sides, any scheme will be useless. But Su Yuan did not know that Qin Yu had 3 trump cards, so he was not afraid of them at all. Things are really troublesome. Qin De also frowned. At the moment Qin Feng and Qin Zheng also became somewhat distressed. Right, Xiao Yu, what's the stage of your Uncle Lan's senior level? Su Yuan suddenly asked. Qin Yu said with a smile, Uncle Lan's power is definitely greater than that of a 12th tribulation loose immortal. Second brother Qin Zhang said with a smile, Xiao Yu, things are simple then. With that senior Uncle Lan here, there shouldn't be any great danger. If he were here, that would be true. But, now he has left. He has left the mortal world. Qin Yu said with a shake of his head. He has left the mortal world? Fenjiuzi said in astonishment. Could it be? Senior Uncle Lan is a 12th tribulation loose immortal and has already transcended the last stage to become a level 1 golden immortal from a 12th tribulation loose immortal? So he has ascended. The information about loose immortals, celestial immortals and golden immortals was told to Fenjiuzi by Qin Yu when he was chatting with him in Prince Yu's mansion. Otherwise, given Fenjiuzi's position, it would be impossible for him to know these things. Ascended, you can understand it like that. Anyway, Uncle Lan won't come back. Qin Yu did not know how to explain it, so he could only explain it vaguely. If Senior Uncle Lan isn't here, then... Qin Zheng murmured with a frown. Qin Yu said with a smile, Don't worry, father. I didn't ask you to come here because of this matter. In the past, 4 loose immortals of the Qingshu Temple on the Tanglong continent attacked my stellar tower. In the end, they were stopped by Uncle Lan. Uncle Lan discovered that the stellar tower's great heavenly stellar formation was not powerful enough, so he modified it a little. Even 12th tribulation loose immortals can't break the current grand heavenly stellar formation. This matter was later told to Qin Yu by Yezhong. In the past, the great heavenly stellar formation was strong enough to withstand the attacks of 8th tribulation loose immortals. After being modified by Uncle Lan, it absorbed the holy energy of the universe and formed an extremely astonishing defensive and illusory formation. Even 12th tribulation loose immortals can't break it. You want us to? Qin De has already guessed it. That's right. I want you to live in the stellar tower for a while first. Anyway, the scenery there is pretty good. During this period of time, I can guess that the Tanglong continent will be in turmoil. At that time, perhaps even the Qianlong continent will be thrown into chaos. Qin Yu said solemnly. Qin De gave a smile. I don't care. Now that I've become a Zionist, I'll live forever, so of course I don't care about that period of time. But I'm worried about Zheng. Qin Yu looked at Qin Yu with a forced smile. Xiao Yu, just let Father, Big Brother, Uncle Feng and Uncle Su go to the stellar tower first. After all, I'm the emperor of the Qin dynasty. How can I leave without permission? Qin Yu also understands this. Regarding this, Qin Yu has already made preparations. Second brother, my Lei Mountain house is made of extremely rare ores, so its defensive power is extremely astonishing. At the same time, it also has defensive formations. Lei Mountain House was forged from some top-grade ores collected by Lei Wei when he was roaming the universe. Its defensive power is naturally very high. Second brother, immediately build an underground space behind the resting palace. I'll put Lei Mountain House there. If you run into danger, you can hide there. At least you'll be safer there. Qin Yu said solemnly. Now Qin Yu has the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, which is far superior to Lei Mountain House in terms of defensive power and other aspects. Therefore, Qin Yu has put Lei Mountain House inside the Imperial Palace. Father, I'll arrange for someone to take you to the Stellar Tower right away. And I'm also going to the chaotic Astral Ocean to practice. If there's anything, you can inform me through the transmitter. Qin Yu said solemnly. Entering the chaotic Astral Ocean to practice was something Qin Yu had decided long ago. Now Qin Yu's soul has reached the late Dujie stage and is even close to the Deshang stage. Qin Yu himself is only at the late planet stage. In order to improve his power quickly, Qin Yu is going to kill fera beasts and refine their nadens. Although the chaotic astral ocean is dangerous, Qin Yu is not afraid. Qin Yu has the Qingyu Immortal Mansion, which was left behind by immortal Emperor Ni Yang. Not only is it made of elemental holy or with extremely high defensive power, it also has extremely powerful defensive formations. Back then, immortal Emperor Ni Yang said that the defensive formations were left behind but the powerful offensive formations were eliminated. But for Qin Yu, this is enough. The defensive formations set up by immortal Emperor Ni Yang can't be broken even by golden immortals, let alone loose immortals. After all, this is an immortal emperor's mansion. This Qingyu Immortal Mansion is a life-saving treasure. Moreover, Qin Yu also has a sword immortal puppet. Although it is only a piece of top-grade elemental holy ore, it can at least exert the power of a level 1 golden immortal. It should be noted that this is a sword immortal. The sword immortal with the strongest offensive power. After ordering his father and the others to be sent to the Stellar Tower and handing over Lei Mountain House to second brother Qin Zheng, Qin Yu himself rushes to the chaotic astral ocean alone on a middle-grade immortal weapon. In the chaotic astral ocean, the waves are monstrous and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is extremely chaotic. Qin Yu steps on a flying sword transformed from a riding brush, shuttling back and forth between the towering waves. Qin Yu passes by one ferocious beast after another at an extremely fast speed. Qin Yu simply won't fight against ferocious beasts whose power is lower than the Dujie stage. Middle stage Dujie ferocious beast. Qin Yu sees a huge silver crab in the distance. Its blood-red eyes are staring at Qin Yu. It seems this ferocious beast crab simply doesn't realize that Qin Yu is a threat to it. Zionist, get ready to die. As a middle-stage Dujie ferocious beast crab, its intelligence is enough to talk to ordinary people. I haven't even decided to fight yet and you want to kill me. Qin Yu smiles helplessly. Immediately, his whole body turns into a rainbow and shoots towards the silver crab. His speed is simply shocking. At first it is only a black rainbow, but in a short while it turns into a purple flame. Ah, it's the heavenly flame. The ferocious beast crab simply has no time to escape before it is surrounded by the domain of heavenly flame. In just a short while, it is burned to ashes. Its internal elixir falls into Qin Yu's hands. Even Dame Yen Ji could only resist 2 or 3 heavenly flames at that time. Now, how can a middle-stage Dujie ferocious beast escape from the domain of heavenly flame? The Lord of Black Flame is an expert comparable to immortal Emperor Ni Yang. He's really formidable. The flame energy in his Lord of Black Flame's ring is really powerful. It's a pity that I'm too weak, so I can only mobilize a very small part of the energy to create heavenly flame with a range of 2 or 3 meters. Qin Yu smiles at the Lord of Black Flame's ring, then continues to move forward like a rainbow. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.